develop something like that. Could be
Forwarding is
interesting.
All right. So last session was extraordinarily bloody. I didn't think anything could get any more gruesome than Regan losing his arm. But wow, yeah.
You were wrong.
Amrys was brutally murdered in the night by Lunaeus for reasons that nobody really entirely comprehends at this point. Several of the party members, the remaining party members, think that he just snapped. And there's not a whole lot of evidence to suggest otherwise. It seemed like he just bashed in Amrys's skull and attempted to flee with the artifact, the eye of the dreaded one. After you guys eventually dealt with that situation and Lunaeus unfortunately perished. Despite all of your attempts to subdue him peacefully, you all gathered to kind of give them a very, very makeshift funeral, and we're going to try to leave the tomb when both Regan and Padine kind of felt almost called to one section unexplored of the dungeon, and therein they found a chest. But before anything could be done there, Telamon and Nicodemus both heard some sort of commotion in another nearby part of the other underground, I guess, tunnels, the labyrinth, if you will. And despite attempting to get Regan and Padine to come with them, it seemed like they were almost entranced, and they were left to their own devices. And Telamon and Nicodemus came upon a goblin, apparently a spellcaster, beleaguered by the undead, and fought rather hard to extricate him from that situation. Nicodemus took several incidental magical friendly fire incidents, if you will. While this was going on, Regan and Padine were both going to attempt to open this chest when Regan decided that he needed the contents inside and couldn't take the chance that Padine would attempt to keep them for himself, and so cast magic upon Padine and sent him fleeing into the darkness. Padine almost broke free of it, but did not want to risk killing Regan in case this was some sort of spell cast by the room or something else in the dungeon. And Padine eventually emerged in a dark cavern, like a small cavern filled with actual shadows, like magical shadows, and was in deep trouble. When Regan eventually ran to his aid, carrying with him the iron scepter that he had liberated from said chest. Eventually, all of you were able to extricate yourselves from your various situations and meet back up once again at the kind of cubicle room where there are 4 branching hallways, and you know that this is like it may not be central to the complex, but it certainly seems to lead to a lot of different places, and one of these hallways does lead towards the exit, and you're all standing here very, very the worse for wear. I think there's not a single one of you. Scratch that. 3 of you are at 1/3 hit points, and then and Telamon is a little bit better. But yeah, all of you are ragged and low on rations, and it seems very obvious that you want to leave the dungeon. And you also have this new new goblin kind of in tow. You've yet to really speak to yet.
So we're all together in this room where the chest was?
No,
no.
This is
our Cosmos
The
was?
intersection.
this was the
hallway
intersection
that
of
led
all
to
the
chest.
hallways.
Okay.
Well, it's
This
been
is closer to the exit.
Did you find what you were seeking? I hope it was worth the price.
Regan found something interesting.
Yeah, like I guess to set the scene, Regan and Padine, you eventually kind of shamble into this room, both fairly bloodied from your encounter, and I think like maybe you're probably supporting each other, and you kind of shuffle into this room out of one corridor, and you see Telemon and Nicodemus both kind of breathing heavily, and Nicodemus looking especially singed, and there's this kind of purple robed figure nearby, up against the wall, breathing hard as well. Seems to be some sort of goblin with a large like wizard's hat similar to Telemon, and yeah, that's the situation here.
Who is that?
Yes. Who do you be?
Thank you for the assistance, oh tall one. The goblin like kind of looks up at Telemon a little bit, and then over at Nicodemus, and one with the feral grin. He kind of straightens up and he looks about, and like he sucks in a breath like he's trying to compose himself, and he uses a staff to kind of hold himself a little bit upright. I am Sarcasmos the Magnificent. And he says that like it's supposed to mean something.
Sarcasmos the Magnificent. I haven't heard of you, actually. Where do you hail from?
What do you mean you have not heard of me? I'm one of the most famous of the goblet wizards ever.
I've never heard of any goblin wizards, really.
Ah, yeah, that might be why I don't know too much about goblin wizards.
He kind of, like, he was kind of tilting his face towards the ceiling a little bit.
The red.
Almost like posing for a statue, and now he's just kind of looking at you guys like...
Well, to be fair, we are at a very secluded island.
Yes, but I've been to many places.
What are all you doing in here? I have never seen you before. I certainly have not seen you, O Red One, amongst the Iron Camp.
Well, that is a very long story. One that should not be
a long
discussed
story,
here, I
you
believe.
say? Let me hazard a guess. Your ship was wrecked. Was that the end of the long story?
Well, to get to the island, perhaps, but
That's the short of the long story.
Regan will suggest to Telemon we do not tell him everything, because we do not know who he might have waiting outside of this location.
How did you get here?
What do you mean? How did I trekked through the blasted jungle? How do you mean you? What do you think? I just teleported here?
Well, where did you trek from?
His eyes suddenly kind of narrow at you. And why is this of any of your concern, human?
well, there are several Minotaur companions that were supposedly just be guarding the door.
Did you happen to see them?
I have no idea what you talk about. I have been in here for over a day.
We have been in here for several days, I think.
You guys have been in here a day.
Yeah. Mayhap you came in just before us, or something.
What were you looking for in here?
A source of great magical power with which to finally get off this blasted, magic-forsaken island.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Well, with this magical power, how would you get off this island?
Again, it narrows his eyes. Don't get me wrong.
He is a wizard.
You seem a little bit more intellectual than those of the camp, but you have not been traditionally friendly to my people.
Oh, I have nothing against goblins. I don't know why you would say that.
A goblin taught me alchemy. Wonderful art.
Yes, alchemy for the children. He just kind of looks at you all like he doesn't trust you, and I think you all kind of realize that he thinks since you're all humans except for Nicodemus, you're all part of the Iron Fortress camp.
We too have entered deep into the jungle in search of the magical energy that I detected upon our landing. We too seek to leave this quaint little island.
How long have you been here?
A week, is that right?
A little less.
A week? He looks at you all. Well, then you haven't been here very long, have you? And you've already trekked this deep into the jungle.
Well, how long has it taken you to get here?
Oh, he kind of lowers his head a little bit and starts stroking his temples beneath his hat, and he's like, I've been on this horrid island for 3 years.
Well, then how did you expect us to know of you?
He kind of just stares blankly at you. All have heard tale of Sarcasmos the Magnificent. And he just kind of like snaps his staff on the floor.
Well, I am Padine the Bard, and these are my compatriots. I introduce them. Perhaps we can work together to find this magical item and a way off the island.
So you are not with those of the fortress to the west. You mentioned something about the Minotaur. Are you with them?
We have taken up residence among their village most recently. We found them very accommodating for the time being.
Regan might step forwards and kind of motion to Telemon to be quiet and ask, you ask a lot of questions.
How should one find knowledge without asking questions? Oh, one-armed one.
Regan will smile and he will say that is a fair point, but perhaps there is wisdom in not answering all of your questions as well.
Knowledge does not simply arrive through osmosis.
But is that not why we wear these very magnificent hats?
He looks over at you and gives you kind of like an appraising look. Like your hat is in almost as many tatters as his. Like it looks like he's been in the jungle for a long time. But like it's obvious. It's obvious that like he's appreciating your fashion style, and he just kind of gives you like a nod.
What is it with splitters and pointy hats? There's always a pointy hat.
But have you not worn one?
Regan might step back and kind of quietly talk to Padine. Once you have worn
a pointy hat, it will never quite be the same again if you don't.
Really? This could be interesting. Maybe I could use it as a potion container.
I'll say it in a very low voice to Padine that isn't it the goblins who the two that died claimed killed the sticky-fingered one?
I believe so. But I don't know if it was this person that was with them or not. He seems to have been here all alone.
We should not trust him, and we need to definitely keep in.
What are you saying over there?
The eye.
Why are you whispering? What secrets are you plotting? He kind of just gestures with his staff at you.
I'm just very curious as to how you've been here for a day within this crypt and been able to stay alive, quite frankly.
Sarcasmos is one of intellect and cunning, and also one of soft feet.
He was quite fleet of foot when we arrived on the scene.
I have been searching this tomb for some time now. It took me and my party weeks of trek through the jungle to find it, but I was the only one willing to enter. I
Oh,
have
He's
no
gonna get his
idea where they
attention.
went.
He's gonna get Regan's attention when he says his party, and I'll ask, "Oh, where are they?"
Well, obviously, if you have not run into them, they have fled off into the jungle somewhere. Cowards.
and this was a day ago or so?
Oh, time is very hard to measure in here, isn't it not?
That's
A
true.
day at least, perhaps two. It's most unpleasant in here. All I know is I've been wandering these blasted halls, and I was stuck in the corridor of mirrors for a full day.
Wow.
I could not leave it.
What did you eat? Bring rations?
He pulls like a softly iridescent mushroom out of his pocket, and he's like, yes.
Ooh.
He takes a crunching bite out of it and sticks it back in his pocket.
What kind of mushroom is that?
Well, I don't know. I just found it on the ceiling. I was hiding from the spiders.
Spiders. Oh
Crunchy
my
mushroom
gosh.
that still glows. Oh god.
Yeah, you haven't run into the spiders yet.
No, and I don't care to.
We have been dealing with
They're large enough to
Skeletons
ride on.
skeletons, limes, and the like, and many
Regan
of
will
them
climb
are
in with
trapped.
shadows.
Shadows, yes.
Shadows.
Yes,
What do you
I
mean,
think
no mention
I
of shadows?
saw a hint of them on my way. I saw no slimes though.
Well,
I'll be
if you
glad that you did not.
I passed a great bridge of vines on my way here.
We saw the bridge, but we did not hazard to pass it.
Wouldn't try to go that way again if I were you.
You may see many in our party would probably be too heavy for such a bridge.
Oh, there's no way I would go back that way anyway. Not with that blasted corridor. I was wandering it for hours, I tell you. Hours! I kept coming back into the same place. It was most mind-boggling.
Well, we shouldn't go in there then. Perhaps we should make our way out. I don't think there's any other magical things within this place that could aid us in finding our way off this island.
What do you mean? Have you found something already? He looks at you with a newly fervent look, like he's looking between all of you now. He's like, I was drawn here by great magical presence, but it is overwhelming.
Regan will
I
say that it was
cannot
already.
determine its location.
We believe we'd already found and destroyed the source of the magical power, and that it will be should be fading from the areas shortly.
Why
We
would
need
you
to
do
leave.
such a thing? It's our only way off the island.
To dispel the powers that were here.
Oh. Do you
why do you lie to the man? The
What-
red one has it.
What mean you lie? Red? What do you mean, red wizard? Wizard? What?
Didn't we find an eye thing? Yes. Yeah.
I?
Nico is perhaps a bit overzealous in his dispersal information, but we did indeed find a eye that seems to store magic. But from what we can tell of it, it seems to be a very dangerous object.
Well, of course it's dangerous. Anything with magical powers. What sort of wizard are you?
Well, it's true that many magical objects are dangerous, but most of them don't.
He is a
contain-
caster of many fireballs.
Most magical objects don't
Ugh.
contain dead gods now.
Little
do
bit
they?
of little bit of smoke rises
Dead
from my.
gods.
So it would seem. Supposedly, it's a very magical enchantment that we could possibly tap to get off this island, but we must be very careful at how we go about doing so. We wouldn't want to release things that are beyond our control now, would we?
Well, he kind of shrugs, like releasing things beyond his control is probably part of his everyday routine.
We've already lost 2 companions to this death trap, though.
Well, at least you didn't have to wander in here alone.
No,
Most terrifying.
I am not one to be as nearly fleet of foot as oneself. I probably wouldn't have died to the closest trap we found, probably.
So So like this conversation goes on for a little while, and you get the idea that he came in here in search for the eye, even if he didn't know what it was. He was searching for some great magical power that was absorbing magic, and he seems to have some idea as to how this could potentially get him and some others off of the island, and like he kind of just mentions that. Do you guys wish to, like, you mentioned that you need to leave, and he kind of begrudgingly goes with you. The entire time he's kind of scampering next to Telemon, constantly eyeing the bag, like he wants to say something, but he doesn't know what to say. Like, it's obvious that he wants the item, but he also doesn't, like, he realizes that somebody else is now in possession of it, so he doesn't know what to do. And so you guys are probably, making your way back, I would assume, down the corridors, and that's kind of the scene.
Regan's keeping his watchful eye on him and trying to convince, I guess, Padine quietly to do the same, because I don't trust him whatsoever.
Yes, I don't know if I can trust him either. We're kind of whispering back and forth this information. I don't know if I can totally trust him either, but if he knows a way to get off this island, we might have to extend him some trust so that we can get off with him.
Regan will remind Padine what happened to the last person that was holding the eye, and he seems to want it very badly, so we should definitely not let that happen.
True.
Does anybody inquire as to where he came from? Like, you guys initially had inquired.
I'll press him for that a little bit more, like what continent do you come from, that type of thing.
And not like specifically where he's staying on the island. You have some sort of ability for this.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get to that in a moment. Trying to kind of get a little bit of background of where he comes from the 3 years ago first.
So he explains that he came from Harand, which is on the western continent of Harn, and he is a very, very traveled goblin. Apparently, him and a companion of his have traveled the lands for many, many years, and they've kind of been separated since before this shipwreck, and he occasionally just mentions Gralky, as he calls him. You get the feeling that this is like somebody he kind of admires begrudgingly, and like he doesn't apparently have a whole lot of ties to wherever it is he's come from. He's definitely more of a wandering goblin.
Okay, but he's mostly from the western continent.
Yeah, he's done most of his travel on the western continent. He was actually intending to travel to the eastern continent for the first time when they were shipwrecked here.
That's sea travel. It's always dangerous. Yes, we discovered this the hard way.
Okay, so
especially dangerous with the great Padoon in the sea.
Oh. As we're traveling through the corridors, I'll kind of come to the goblin. Is it Sarcasmos or Arcosmos?
Sarcasmos.
Sarcasmos.
Like sarcasm.
Yes.
Yep.
I'll come to him and I'll say, I'll use a little bit of bardic lore that he might have some familiarity with from the western continent, for the lands of...
I was thinking you were going to be using Charming and Open.
I will. I'm using this to get to that.
Okay, that sounds cool. This is building.
The epic saga of the Greenweed, which are the elvish brothers of Katalo, Okan, and Rafe. I'm sorry,
Katalo,
Rafe,
you say?
Lasand, which are the northern parts of the Western Kingdom. Does he have any knowledge of this? I can give some more information on in a little bit if he does have information of that saga.
He doesn't have any information on the saga, but he is familiar with.
Okay, so
he's familiar with Katalo.
Alrighty, so the story goes that there's these three sons of a king who made up some small kingdoms in Narante, Katalo, and Okan, and a lot of political intrigue and dealings happen that stretched as far as 2 other continents, all the way to the southeastern one of Rafe. And one of the things is the younger brother was kind of devious and mischievous and cunning, to try to get his way, using political intrigues. So I kind of bring that up to him, and then I will kind of look him dead in the eyes, and I will say, where is it? So knowing that, and that story is fresh in my mind, how can I get you to share this magical way of getting out this island with us that will also take you as well, which is the charming and open part.
So you're asking how you can get them to share his way off the island with you?
Yes.
So like you guys are making your way back through the corridors. You kind of pass through the ooze cavern, and then the corridor with the vertical blades. Like everybody's kind of shuffling on the walls again, and all this time you're kind of chatting and stuff. And eventually you get back to what is the let's see here. You get back to the stone kind of living area. It looks like yeah, it's like a dining hall that you've been through before, and you ask this question, and he stops. You would have to convince me that you would not betray us. We have been on this island for some time. We have had many misfortunes.
How many of them are you?
He just kind of squints at you. There are enough of us.
And now remember, he can ask a question in return for the list.
Yeah, I'm looking. So he basically responds that you'd have to convince him that they could trust you. He basically kind of turns it about in the same way. He says, how can I get you to let me get a look at that? And he puts his staff up a little bit, and he kind of gestures towards the sack at Telemon's side, where there's this cubicle shape. That's necessary to get off the island. At least I think so. I'd have to take a look at it first.
Well, I don't have possession over it, but I would tell Telemon that I think it's fine to show you now, especially since we're not with the rest of your party yet.
Yeah, he grumbles something under his breath, like
Is that easy?
Backbiting cowards or something like that. Like they just fled.
How many do you think can get off this island with the way that you have intended? If it's enough that we can get off, all of us, then all the more better. I think our interests are shared.
He kind of glances back over towards the cube at Telemon's side. If you truly are trustworthy, and this does what I think it could, we could perhaps get all off the island.
I think that would be best. Telemon, would you like to show him the object for now?
I very cautiously take it out of my bag, but I do not intend to let him hold it.
You want to show him here?
Well, no, not here. Well, we're like right after the blade trap room, right? Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be fine to do that.
Regan's tightening his grip on his mace, standing right behind him.
So you take it out of the bag and just kind of hold it up? Is that right?
Yeah, I guess so. It seems to be a bit of an inopportune location to me. I mean, who knows what could happen in here, but...
Well, I mean, are you doing it or not, or would you insist on waiting until you made camp later, or what?
I believe that we should wait until perhaps under the light of day. In here it seems, I for one, there are several, like the skeletons at least, there's the spiders he mentioned. It does not seem to be the time to dawdle about in a dungeon.
Yes, things of incredible magic nature such as that tend to draw unwanted attention. It could be wise to leave, he says, but like you get the feeling that like he really wanted to see it anyway, but like he goes along with you.
Perhaps best. And we have heard that fire is really bad for this particular object. We read it somewhere, so getting away from the torches would probably be best as well.
Fire, you say?
Yes, so please be careful with any fire magics that you might use.
Well, it sounds like I'm not the one that needs to be careful. He kind of looks over at Telamon. Judging from what I saw.
Uh-oh. Telamon, did you use some fire magic?
I think you
You
asked
see
this,
some burnt
and-
floor.
Yeah, like Nicodemus
I'm
scraped
so
some
very
singe
sorry
off of
about
his
that,
fur.
Nico. It has been a very long and tiring day.
I thought you were perhaps attacked by fire, not you used it yourself.
To be fair, I did.
There were some friendly fire incidents. We shall leave it at that.
Well, to be fair, you have barely singed Nico, and it was a 3-for-1 deal.
Looks at his 7 of 20-something hit points.
I gave you a healing potion after all, did I not?
Yes, you did, and I shall be figuring out how to make these at some point here.
All right, so so you guys just kind of proceed back to the entrance where you
Tell
think
me,
the
Sarcasmos,
Minotaurs.
Before we entirely get out here, what is your relation with the Minotaur village?
He narrows his eyes. They're a little bit far away. We've had little dealings with
because
them.
We do have two Minotaur companions. I don't know how they will react to you.
We tend to stay away from anything big enough to squash us.
Well,
That said, it
these
has
two
not
certainly are probably big enough to squash any of us, I would think.
been. I think all of them are big enough to do that. He just kind of he looks around. And he says, "We've not had many dealings with them. I think someone approached them the first year we were upon the island, but nothing came of it. We have kept to ourselves, especially in the wake of those bastards from the Iron Fortress."
Personally, have not met to the Iron Fortress. We had the two companions we were lost did. We did not hear much of it though, but I've heard nothing but bad things of that place.
How were they lost?
It died.
Well, duh.
Well, one we believed seemed to have lost his mind and just ran about and killed the other. It's just
A common occurrence in the jungle.
I was forced to stab him.
I'm not entirely sure it was the jungle.
And I was forced to stab him, and his body proved to be more frail than I expected.
Yes. I think it might have something to do with this place that drove him mad. He's usually a very naturalistic type of fellow.
All the more reason to not remain here any longer than
Are you
we
saying
must.
there's a third camp of people on this island?
He kind of looks at you and he says, "Maybe, perhaps."
How many camps could there be on such a small island?
You say small island, Nico, but we've already trekked, what, a day or more into this jungle. I would not call it a small island.
If you prove honest, and if this proves worthwhile, he looks at the cube again. I will tell you. So you guys head back to the entry chamber where you last left Rannick and Rundar.
Along the way, I might mention that Badine had to run in with Shadows and see if Telamon has any healing magics available for him. Regan's pretty beat up too, but he's asking for Badine.
I'm afraid that, Frederica, that I am quite tapped for the day. I have but a lone fireball, and I have warped the energies of this world to a bit of a large extent.
He
Padine,
says,
would you-
looking
would
at
you
his
like a
minus
healing
3
potion?
modifier ongoing.
But I would like to analyze it first, but otherwise you may have it.
Regan nods.
Sure.
So after we analyze it later, I'll give it to you. But
Analyze what?
A
the
potion.
healing potion
Oh, okay.
with chemist.
So as long as I don't die before he analyzes it.
Yeah.
Unless the red one has another one.
I have 2 more of such things. But
All right, so I give you one.
Oh, cool. Oh, so I'll drink it. What does that do? 10?
flat 10.
Flat 10.
Perfect.
Yep.
It's 100%. I can
Or
take
you
the
could-
lead now.
Or you could get rid of a debility.
Oh, I don't have any of those.
That was my plan all along.
Yahoo!
All right. So, you guys get back there, and who's in the lead?
Well, now that I'm full health, I can be in the lead.
Well,
Okay.
obviously.
All
With
right.
the
So,
torch.
so Telemon and Nicodemus and Sarcasmos are probably chattering along, and Regan's unusually quiet in the back with his like mace in his hand. And Padine,
Keeping an eye on this guy.
you're leading the party, and you come into the room, and like beside you on either side of the door, with their backs to the door, you notice 2 hulking figures, and they kind of relax a little bit when they realize it's you, and they step away.
We have a new companion, and we have lost a few.
Yes.
What happened in the depths? Rannick says, like looking between you, and like Sarcasmos looks at them, and he says, "Oh my, big smespins they are."
Our friends from the ship that joined us, Amrus and Lunaeus, they both succumbed to the dangers of the crypt.
It
We
would
heard a
seem
terrible
that
shrieking from
Lunaeus seems
inside
to
the
have lost
tomb.
his mind. Seemed to have succumbed to
The
the dark, as
shaman,
it were.
the old one.
Yes.
Regan will tell them that there are
Let's
many
see.
horrors inside.
He seemed to have lost his mind and killed one of our companions on his way out.
He killed.
Amrus, the ranger.
He killed Amras.
They both look really shocked by this, like almost horrified, and they just kind of look back to each other like this is one of the most awful things they've ever heard.
Regan will speak up and say that there are many horrors in that place, some illusions and some of the mind that simply can drive men mad.
Yes, I highly recommend to let your people know to never under any circumstances come back to this place.
Regan comments that we may have found the source of the troubles for the island, and it may have draw unwanted attention, so we will need to be careful when as we return.
Yeah, so you say that, and they say, "But is this an item of some kind? The one that you showed us before, the eye."
Yes.
I am unsure if we should bring this back to the village.
Well, we might be bringing it somewhere else to get off this island, so that might not be a problem.
Perhaps we should make a new camp near the village, but not in it. And
Regan,
someone
I'm
shall
sure
stay and
there
watch
must
it.
be
Perhaps
a
at the
farmer
remains
or
of the
something.
ship.
Quite far from the village.
Not saying this, not knowing what happened at the ship previously, because all the people who were there are now dead.
Are there no abandoned farms or mines around their village, or perhaps homes that have been long since unused?
They reply that there's very few places that have been abandoned by their people on the island. There was probably, let me look. I'm thinking.
Oh, there you go. I was like, ping about where we are. We're kind of right in the middle, or a little right, or
You're at the end of that line.
okay, the yellow orangish explosion.
Yeah. I think they say that like there might be there's occasionally been like an
Maybe a
abandoned
cave?
fishing village, like not like a huge village or anything, but like a fishing encampment.
I found
Like
caves to be
out-
quite hospitable.
Out
sometimes.
here, like on one of the smaller islands. But along the shore, this is kind of the only major thing that they have. And they comment like the only other shelter that they could think of on the shore would be your shipwreck.
How do they respond, or how do they react to Sarcasmos? There we go. How do they react to him being there?
Rannick, the older brother, just kind of looks at him for a moment and then writes him off almost immediately. Like, he's traveling with you guys, he doesn't look to be a threat, and so he just kind of addresses you guys like about the important issues.
Okay.
Rundar, the larger one, the younger brother, he's definitely a little bit more curious. And like you see him like kind of staring at Sarcasmos, and he says, "What are you looking at, big one?" Says and like Rundar just kind of like looks back. He says, "You may be bigger than me, but I warn you, I am quite powerful. Fear me!" And he just kind of like wiggles his fingers at him a little bit. And Rundar looks inquisitive, like he's maybe never seen a goblin before, but that's probably about it.
Okay. So I'll ask Sarcasmos. Sarcasmos, do we have to take this item to some sort of area that you know, or can we do this anywhere on the island?
He looks back to the Minotaurs. Perhaps we should discuss this in more. Perhaps we should make camp somewhere, and we could discuss it then.
Okay, fair enough.
Like you notice him eyeing the Minotaurs, like maybe he doesn't want to talk about. Like the Minotaurs certainly did not say anything about having knowledge of a goblin encampment anywhere. So it seems like you have like a good idea that maybe he's trying not to give away the location of where his people might be, or like that there might even be a place.
Yes.
Freaking might. Good.
Well, and then it makes me think. Oh, go ahead. Never mind. I don't want to think out loud.
I was just gonna say that I was probably going to ask the Minotaurs when I had a chance if they'd seen any signs of his supposed party, and if they'd heard anything that could possibly have been that.
You guys, like thinking back as I guess you guys leave the tomb and back into the jungle, you guys remember that Amrys and Lunaeus commented about something about goblins in the jungle.
Oh, that's right. Can't believe I forgot that.
Yeah. It didn't seem like they mentioned them in the context that they got into a fight. It's just like they'd seemed to have seen goblins somewhere.
Alrighty.
So you guys leave and head back out into the jungle.
We're assaulted by the copious jungle heat.
And we're going to make camp, I assume.
Yeah, so where exactly would you like to make camp? You get kind of just you don't get a specifically ominous feeling about this place, but looking back into the dark entry corridors to this place, like you feel really eager to leave this place behind. Do you want to just put some distance between you in this place?
I would vote we camp not here, but knowing the dangers we faced before, perhaps not very near the river.
Yes, the
Why?
river is full of the
crocodile was
crocodiles.
delicious.
They also nearly bit you in too.
I've seen many a goblin succumb to the blasted six-legged crocolisk.
I would say we wouldn't go too far either, because we don't want to get further away from where we might be going to the other camp, if that's possible.
We must visit the ship. I have need of my materials.
That's true. Yes, so we might need to go downriver, actually.
Is it downriver
near.
or upriver?
You're technically not on the river that's on the map.
So we would need to
This
make
is
our way over
like
to that.
a small stream. Let me switch us back to the map again.
Need a multi-panes.
Oh wow. Yeah, it'd probably be
Oh, yeah, it's not
best
even
just to
close.
go
It's like
like almost
equidistant.
southeast to this area, probably to get close to the shore.
Yeah.
And then
That
cut-
would
cut
actually
back
be a
along.
shorter trip to head there and then go to the ship, then going back to the Minotaur village. Just
Would
because
it be able to make it to that point by the end of the day, or?
that would depend on your rolls.
Ew, okay.
Like if you guys roll really well, you might be able to make it there by nightfall.
Sarcasmos, do you know of any edible mushrooms around here?
Aren't all mushrooms edible?
God.
Are they?
Well,
He pops
that-
open a satchel and hands you another glowing mushroom. He's like, "Here, try."
Ooh, mushroom.
well.
You crunch it. It tastes surprisingly good.
I'm not sure what I should be doing.
It's just
with
the
that, you
cap.
two. I mean,
Do all mushrooms taste this good?
Oh no, some make you sick,
they're
but
like,
still
you could-
edible.
Depends how you define edible. This is one define edible as in I can put it in my mouth and I can consume it, or does
Goblins
one
have hearty stomachs. I don't know about you weaker races.
Yes.
Well, the rattling does seem to be quite resilient so far. I
So
do
is-
not think
so
I
the
would
plan
trust
is-
it to my own stomach, though.
So the plan is to make your way, like
Let's
southeast.
recover my portable alchemy lab.
Okay.
I hope that to God they haven't messed with it.
Yeah, you mentioned alchemy lab, and he kind of like perks up. He says, "You have a lab with you,
A small one, chest sized, but it has the required materials.
and it survived the crash.
As far as I know. Unless
You are,
those
you are most
bastards.
fortunate. None of my materials survived the blasted wreck.
Yeah.
Had to make do with swamp musk and bark and horrid place.
Yeah, if we hike for an hour towards that area, then we'll probably be clear of this area enough that we can set up camp and then
Okay.
go the rest of the way tomorrow.
Okay, all right, that sounds pretty good. Rannick and Rundar, like they seem like they want to head back to camp, but they'll come with you. Like they realize, I think the main reason why they're okay with leading you guys this way is they seem like they don't want to bring the eye back to the village, and it seems to them like it's a good idea to have you guys like stay somewhere else, like maybe the wreckage of your ship until they talk to their elders and figure out what they should do. Like, it seems like probably the best idea as far as they're concerned. So you guys move for an hour and set down to rest. It's kind of like late in the afternoon, and there's like kind of golden sunlight flickering down through the jungle. But yeah, you don't run into anything or anyone in particular. Like you see the occasional snake, like Sarcasmos jumps back because it looks like it could probably swallow him whole, but it doesn't like attack you or anything.
Pretty big snake.
For
Yeah.
a guard order or anything,
I
I kind
wonder
of have
how
a specific
snake
way I want to
would
go about it.
taste. It is quite a big snake.
Probably pretty good.
Sarcasmo just kind of looks at it warily and starts sidestepping away.
It isn't that difficult. Just chop its head off.
Regan will comment that snakes are quite common in the eastern continents as standard food.
I would not venture any closer to that. Like it's like kind of at the base of what looks to be like some low marsh or whatever, and like you can just see part of the snake. It's a very large snake.
Sounds like good advice. I will still steer clear.
Very well then. We can continue on.
And nobody was killed by the Hydra that day.
It was just the Hydra's tail.
So let's see here. Do I have my random encounter table open? I'm not even using it right now, but I probably should. Um.
Are we setting a guard order or anything, or are we not? At
Yeah,
that point
you.
Yet?
Well, you guys are making camp, and you definitely are going to want to set guard order unless you want something untoward to happen.
I think once we finally get the camp, the first thing that I'm going to do probably is commune my deity over this object that I got, the cylinder, for the first hour, and then I'm going to come out and put sanctuary on around the center of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to stay inside of that, and I'm going to suggest that Telemon stay in the center with the eye too, so we'll be alert if anyone wants to make a play for it.
I will take first watch since I'm all healed up, but I'll be wanting to try to get my spells eventually, and rest up for my level. So I'll be on first watch.
Telemon, if you would give me one of your other healing potions, well, he walked away. Sure.
Can hirelings take watch or not?
No, not necessarily. Like they can RP take watch like with you guys, but you would basically be leaving it up to me as to whether or not they find anything or of that nature. So first watch is Padine. Who wants to take second watch?
Well, I want to use Chemist on a potion, but I have to get Cloud to give me one because he walked away.
So if anything happens in the first hour or so before I have a chance to put Sanctuary down, then that's probably worth noting. But if it happens after that, hopefully the really special items, as well as hopefully Telemon and Regan, will be inside that.
Let me take a look at Sanctuary real quick.
Probably need to roll it as well. I haven't actually rolled
Yeah,
it yet.
you'll need to. As you cast a spell, you walk the perimeter of an area, consecrating it to your deity. As long as you stay within that area, you are alerted whenever someone acts within malice within the sanctuary. Anyone who receives healing within a sanctuary heals 1d4 HP.
I'm back.
So should I go ahead and roll that, or?
Yeah. Give me a spell roll. That's not a success.
God.
You don't know that it's not a success though. You do your spell and you think it's working.
That's hilarious. So, on that same note,
Come into the circle.
should I level up or should I wait until you finish rolling it? And same thing with healing. Should I heal any amount of hit points now or not yet?
All right, so for the moves here, we're making camp, and that's going to let us do our take watch and our level up. When you settle into rest, consume a ration. So everybody mark down a ration. If you're somewhere dangerous, decide the watch order as well. We'll take that in a moment. If you have enough XP, you may level up. We'll get to that. When you wake from at least a few uninterrupted hours of sleep, heal damage equal to half of your max HP. So we will determine healing after we see what happens with the watch. As far as level up goes, once you have downtime hours or days and XP, we will level up. So actually, the very most primary thing here is just the watch order. If that goes okay, then you can level up and get your HP as needed. So take watch. When you're on watch and something approaches the camp, roll plus whiz. I think what I'm going to do is, like, it says when something approaches the camp. I'm not going to have everybody roll the take watch roll. I have a custom table for this, and if anything is encountered, I will have whoever it's encountered with on the watch take that roll. So we're not going to do the take watch roll just yet. I'm bringing up my table.
So judging from hit points, I guess Padden will be first watch. I'll be second.
All right, so you would be second. Regan, are you taking a watch?
I might actually join with Telemon on the second watch if we're going to split it up. That way
Okay.
we can.
And would anybody be taking a third watch?
I suppose I will.
Okay. All right. So we'll get.
But before that,
Nico.
Telman, could you please give me one of your other potions?
I have them. You need another?
I may be able to figure out how to make them.
Yeah, it does seem like if you guys could somehow forage and potentially craft your own on this island, it would be a very substantial boon.
Very well then. I will open the pouch that contains them and very carefully take one out. They are a bit fragile.
All right. So while standing near the fire, before we take watch, I chemically analyze the potion.
Okay. So
DM will tell you what will be required to make them.
Yep. This
But you
is a
replicate it.
standard healing potion, 0 weight. When you drink an entire healing potion, heal yourself of 10 damage or remove 1 debility, your choice. So you know exactly what it does. Like it heals a fairly substantial amount of damage, can cure a debility. GM tells you its effects and just what would be required to replicate it. So
Sorry, but are the antitoxins considered potions too, or are they just something different?
a sample of a potion or alchemical mixture. So it would work for a chemist.
Perhaps you would like this one as too. I don't know how useful. it
One
would be to you.
potion at a time.
Yep.
Very well.
So you
When I
remember
open the sack,
being
you see some green ones in there as well. Then.
you remember being told back at the Minotaur village, like you were asking, I think, one of the village elders about like some sort of healing herb or something that they had been used to help treat your wounds or something like that, and they had mentioned a blue frond like fern or something growing down by the river, like the primary river that runs through the island. And you definitely need some of that in order to craft a healing potion. You would also need, of course, something to contain it in, like an empty bottle. We're gonna call this, for lack of a better term, water leaf. So water leaf bottle. Like fresh water, like pure fresh water.
It's Cascadia. It grows near waterfalls.
Salt water would not do, and you would realize it would have to be like not tepid water or anything with a lot of bacteria in it. And you would need some random bits of alchemical nature here and there that you could most assuredly come by. So those are kind of the 3 ingredients that you think that you would need on this island.
Perhaps we could find some of that water leaf. I could probably make these. And I hand the potion back.
Well, in that case, perhaps we should. Since we seem to be going toward the ship anyways, pick up your lab and then perhaps travel upriver.
River that close to it?
River's real close to the ship.
It is real close to the ship, isn't it?
Yep. It seems like you guys are almost getting drawn into said river or something of the nature. So,
Is it upriver? I guess it'd be downriver. We would be going upriver because I assume it's like the river's down
yeah.
from the center point.
I guess so. You would be going upriver, but you haven't seen the river yet, so you don't know if that would be a big hurdle or not. I want a 1d10 from Padine. please. A 1d10 from either Tell or Regan, whichever of you feels brave. And then a 1d10 from Nico.
I wouldn't say woo a 9, Patton. We don't know if it's good or bad. This is random charts.
Yes.
Okay. And can I get, since I haven't had Tell roll, can I get a 1d10 from you for the weather tonight?
Well, of course, the DM. I shall surely roll the dice at your request. The weather shall it be a 4. Let's see.
Okay. All right, so it's pretty average out tonight. The bugs return. Like there was I think I remember that you guys had a fairly bugless journey there for quite some time. The bugs return. It's a pretty average night on the island.
Should be a very miserable night in the jungle, I think, in most cases.
Damp and buggy.
Yeah. Right, so Padine, on your watch, let's see what you see, because a 9 is most definitely something.
Aha. It goes that way. Could be a good thing, though. We
In
don't know
general,
yet.
low on charts is bad and high is good, but not always. Some charts like to mix it up.
Padine, could you describe to me where you guys have made camp?
Okay, I'm assuming it's as dry of an area as we can get it in this wonderful jungle. Probably some big trees surrounding us in an area, some mossy patches near the trees, muddish, rocky ground, and a fire set up in the center.
Okay. All right, so you're on first watch, and everybody kind of dozes to sleep. I think Ranek is probably awake on the other side of the camp, keeping watch as well. And but he's not really talking to you. He's he's letting everybody sleep. And it's early in the night, so you're a little bit restless. You're tired, and your bones are aching from your encounters today. And you look, you're just kind of bored, and you're looking around, and you like see the slight glint of something in the low firelight. And at first you think, oh God, no, not the eye of another cat, but it's not moving at all. And you get off of like the stump that you're sitting on, and you get closer, and like there is a glint coming from beneath the moss at the base of one of these trees, and you kind of peel it back, and you see that there is like something there. Can you give me a 1d10 roll? All right, so give me a 1d20 now.
Oh.
There is a very small sack here that seems to be kind of rotted away at the jungle, or beneath, because of the jungle. And your eye was caught to like a single gold coin that's kind of poking out from this sack, and you pick it up, and it's a very light sack. And you open it up, and there are 4 gold coins inside.
Woohoo!
So it's
I'll
not like
pocket that.
a tremendous find, but like, yeah, you have a little bit of coin to your name now.
Alrighty, and I'll return to my stump.
A little bit of coin that is wholly useless on this island.
Well, it could have been useful on that last place. Somebody
True.
might not have had
That's
to use a
true.
magic coin. Cursed
Yeah.
coins.
I would have been so sad. It was so terrible to have to melt down a magic coin to get out of the room.
So, absolutely nothing happens during Telemon and Regan's watch. Do you guys talk about anything during your watch?
Actually, I
I
had
would
a-
imagine there'd at least be a discussion about what he may have found in that room, and if it would have to be magical, and I would at least like examine the eye or something during my watch. Everything.
So, do you want to examine the scepter? Like, Regan, would you?
Actually, I had a specific question about examining the scepter over the night.
Yeah.
That came up. Would I be able to? One thing I was wondering about the cleric spells, if I'm able to commune, would I be able to commune like twice in the same night? Because what I'm thinking is I'd like to swap the words of the unspeaking and try to use that on this object if I've made level 5, and then be back to like actual useful spells by the morning.
You can commune, but I will warn you that there's nothing in the book that says that you are guaranteed to commune multiple times within a short period of time, and your deity may not wish to be bothered.
Okay. In that case, I'm going
It's
to
not
examine
impossible, but like communing every hour, probably not the most genuine of interactions with your deity.
Yeah, I was thinking mostly so I would be ready for tomorrow and also be able to investigate the words of the unspeaking on this thing. But I might wait until I'm at a safer location to do that then. So
Would you entrust Telemon with looking over this item during the night, or would you hang on to it yourself?
I'll be hanging on to it, but I will. Since I'm on watch with Telemon, I might actually look at it. I won't like hiding it from him though.
Are
But I
you
will,
holding it during the night?
You know what? I'm definitely taking it out and looking at it while I'm up on watch. It's kind of
So,
seeing if I can get anything from it.
like you're not getting anything especially from it. Like you guys are awake though. I'm going to point out that during this time, like enough time has passed, I think, that everybody can consider themselves rested enough to gain back half of their HP and also to level up.
Oh, nice.
You know, generally halfway through the night, that's kind of a thing. If something had happened before now, then that would have been that would have interrupted it. But no. Do you like what do you and Telemon talk about during the night, and like what?
I think primarily I would probably be talking about.
Can you give me like an example of your conversation? Actually, like this is actually
Sure.
somewhat important right now.
Okay.
Regan might. Okay, go ahead.
I do hope that what we have found would be enough to leave the island. It would be a pity that everything we've gone through would just be, you know, we've already lost 2 companions. Hate to lose more on this cursed island.
Regan shakes his head and says that Nistal is here. I don't think that we're done just yet.
Well, one could say that, but Shadal is in many places, it would seem.
Regan will ask if he's managed to glean anything from the eye as he takes his the scepter out and is examining that as well.
I do not know. It does not seem to be the same as normal artifact, but I do not know.
Regan will tell Telemon, he'll lean in and say that if we can get to a place of relative safety, I may be able to find out more, but not while we're out here so exposed in such a cursed place.
Do you wish to examine that as well? It does seem to be magical.
Regan will kind of walk over and kind of let Telemon see it, definitely be keeping close eye on it, and say that it was found in the dungeon. Both Padine and I were looking into, apparently had received visions about this, so I believe it ties into our predicament.
Yeah, you have not said much of that. I believe shadows were mentioned.
Regan will nod and say, Padine ran in, Padine, as he approached the chest, was frightened and apparently ran into a room full of shadows. As I got there, he was
Frightened, you say?
trapped.
But he seems like such a brave fellow to me.
Regan nods and says that place does odd things to your mind.
I love how you try to cover this up. like during this conversation, you hear like a, and you just look over and you see Sarcasmos is like asleep up against a log somewhere, his feet up, his hat over his face.
I will whisper to Regan that says, like, that is the most fake-sounding snore I have ever heard.
Regan will nod.
Hilarious.
I do not trust the goblin. You definitely tell Tillamook that. I believe that he may want what we have for his own gain, and may even be here for it.
Perhaps so, but I, for one, am inclined to humor him. I mean, he does have a very glorious hat. Can't say you see very many of those nowadays. These new wizards, they don't seem to like the pointy hats anymore.
Regan will nod and agree that it is a very fine hat.
And
Do you want
that's-
to look at the item, or I'm just curious, Telemon? I'm just curious if Telemon's going to want to look at it. Regan's going to hold it up for him.
I wish to spend time examining both, if possible. I don't know how much time is in
You can only. Let me look at this. The impression I got was that you may only be able to do this one at a time.
That's fine. I can try to examine this and see if I can find anything.
I will mention Akron or Regan, not Akron. Like if you go to hand this over to Telemon, like you feel like a almost regret when you're doing it. Like at the last second, you think kind of better of it. Almost if you do it, you do it. But there's definitely a hesitation there that like you kind of find yourself not wanting to
Even before you said
relinquish the scepter to somebody else.
Even before you said that, like I was picturing him if he did have to actually hand it over, like kind of hovering way too close and keeping an eye on it very, very carefully, and be very eager to take it back as soon as he's done looking at it, that sort of thing. Wouldn't trust some of the other party. With
Right,
this.
so I think you could probably do this for multiple items, just from how I remember roleplay doing this. But it would require you to actually have possession of the item. Regan, would you actually give this over to Telemon?
I would probably let him see it for a moment, but I'd be very eager to get it back and staying very, very close.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to tell anything from a moment. He would have to have it for several hours in his possession.
No, I'll say that perhaps you should focus on the eye. That seems like the most pressing matter, and
Okay.
I will investigate this object or this artifact further.
Yeah, like I think.
As you wish. I do wish to think we should find out what it is. Of course. I mean, to be fair, for such a thing, we did lose essentially 2 companions. I do hope it is worth it.
Regan nods and says that I believe that it is, and that as soon as we reach safety, I intend to find out precisely what this is.
Very well. I shall examine the eye mystically. I shall lift it into the air on a cushion of magic and examine it from all aspects.
It seems to be drinking magic in at a fairly heavy rate, and basically over the course of your study, you get that all this magic is going into reinforcing the structure of this thing and containing a great like essence within it. However, you definitely get the sense that like there's some sort of multi-dimensional aspect to this item. And recalling what you were told before, it seems to you like if this thing was shattered, it might send whatever is in there like to potentially another plane or something about it. It wouldn't release it. You also do on those terms realize that if this thing was gradually melted, however, it could potentially safely release whatever is held inside of it. And you definitely know that if you shattered it, it would release a lot of untapped magical energy that could be potentially harnessed if you were so brave enough to do so.
Very well. So, DM note, Do not throw it into lava. That is a bad idea. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. One last thing to look at.
Yep. Any remaining time, Regon seems to be most attentive. I will be refreshing my spells.
As will I.
Goodbye,
Alright.
-3 modifier.
Alright, so, I think, like, maybe there's a point where, Telemon, you stay, like, both you and Regan are up on watch at the same time. Regan, would you go back to bed a little bit, sooner than Telemon at one point?
I may head back here. I'm mostly just kind of chatting with him and staying up. I don't think he's in shape to be on guard by himself. So
Well, he's
us,
not.
Regan.
He's not entirely by himself. He's got Rundar on watch with
I
him.
think I'm actually in better shape than you are, to be honest.
Yeah,
Well, that's
he
what I meant.
definitely is.
I didn't think Regan was on watch to be on, or
Oh,
to be,
yeah.
like in shape. So yeah, he'll probably head back to bed possibly within a few minutes before Telemon and get some additional sleep given his injuries.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this happens. The timing for this was a little bit tricky given that one. So, sometime during the night, when Padine, Regan, and Nicodemus are all asleep at the same time, you're all deeply asleep, and you kind of fade from your normal dreams and into something much different than you've perhaps ever experienced before. Regan, you wake up on a hill. It is there is grass around you, soft grass. It's the middle of the night, and you sit up, and there's just like an array of stars, like the clearest you've ever seen them over your head. And you look around you, and you are on a hill. In the crux between two mountains, and you are overlooking the jungle. Like you seem to be on what looks like maybe the northeast side of the island, if this is the same island. But you are not where you fell asleep, and you're on this large kind of flat hill well above the jungle. This is the first time you've ever been able to see the island from this vantage point, and from here the island looks huge. You see sweeping down before you the jungle, and you see like in the night, in like the moonlight, two kind of sharp black shapes in the center of the jungle. You hear like a voice, like several voices, kind of low voices off to your right, and you look over, and there's actually a low campfire. Do you get up and approach?
Yeah, I'll get up and approach as quietly as I can. This is very surreal. Do I have anything with me, like inventory wise, or no? I'm curious.
You're in, like, you don't sleep with your stuff. on you, so you're just
No,
in
I do.
whatever you slept with.
Okay.
You're basically just in your clothes, and that's about it. You
That's okay.
you kind of go through the grass. It's not slick, but it's definitely damp, with moisture, and again, like it's the view above you is incredible, and you're above almost the jungle here. You see some low stone plinths on the far side of the camp, the campfire. And at first you're not sure like what they are, because they're just shapes in the darkness. But you can kind of picture Stonehenge a little bit, and that's sort of what you're seeing. It's not that extensive. There's just like stones piled up on top of each other in some sort of obviously man-made structure, and you get closer, and a large like olive-skinned figure stands up from the fire and like looks at you, and you recognize this as an orc, and he gestures you over towards the fire, and you see that there are two other orcs sitting at the fire, like kind of warming their hands.
You know what? I'm going to quietly and without a word approach and do exactly what he says. Like this is good.
So there's almost like no words. Like you kind of, he gives you like a look like he knows you almost, like he's welcoming you back to the campfire. He just kind of gestures you to come over, and he like makes room at the campfire. And you walk over, and I guess you warm your hands for a few seconds. You just kind of take in, and all three of them just, there's no words exchanged between any of them. They're all dressed fairly primitively, like in hides and skins. One of them has a club over his back. One of them has like a bow and arrow. Like the woman has bow and arrow over her back. And one of, I think the one that kind of motioned you over, he's an older orc. He's kind of got like a thick gray beard. He definitely, he's got like a scar over his forehead. He's got a long spear that looks kind of like the one that Ranek uses. And there's just kind of like this sense of camaraderie that you get when you're standing here. And eventually he turns to you and he says, there are few greater sacrifices than giving of your wealth to the tribe. And he turns to face you, and he opens his hand, and you see the coin that you had melted in the ruins. And like, you obviously recognize this is the same coin, even though it looks like pretty much any other coin. You know this is the coin. And he says, but for some, this is too much. I return this power to you. And like he takes your hand and he places the coin in it, and then he closes his hand over yours to kind of like close your fingers over it, and like, clasp your hand over this coin. You feel this coin in your hand, and there's almost like a kind of a static tickle in your palm. Padine, you wake up on the same hill, in the exact same scene, and you find yourself welcomed over to this campfire, although not by the older bearded orc. He's still there, but you are welcomed over by the woman with the female orc with the bow over her shoulder, and she kind of gestures you close.
I come over to the fire.
Yeah, you get this sense of camaraderie too, and you share the fire for like, you get the sense that there's time passing, but you can't sense that like how much. And she eventually turns to you and she says, there are few sacrifices greater than giving of your power to the tribe. And she like places a hand on your bicep, and then like another hand over your breast, like where your heart would be, and you kind of feel like this static tickling on your skin as she does this. And you're just kind of standing there for several moments, kind of caught up in this experience. Nicodemus, you too wake up in this same scene, although yet again none of the others are present. And instead of the old man or the female orc to welcome you, you are welcomed to the fire by a younger, obviously kind of prime specimen of a hunter orc. He's got like a club on his back, but one end of the club has a very crudely fashioned axe blade attached to it, and he gestures you close to the fire.
I hesitantly look toward the guy.
He looks at you and says, "There is no need to be scarce, my brother." And he looks at you, and he opens up his hand, and you see a wound directly through his palm, like his hand had been impaled. And there's blood kind of oozing from it. And you recognize this is the exact same wound as you have. And he says, "There is no greater sacrifice than giving of your life to the tribe." And he holds his hand out and takes yours, and like you kind of clasp palms together, and you feel this tingling in your palm, like precisely where this scar went through. And he just, like, you know, all three of you are having this experience kind of simultaneously, and you all feel like just this odd sense that you've been here before, and that this is how it's supposed to be. And there's just this moment where whoever it is that is currently interacting with you is just kind of looking at you like kind of deeply. And eventually you all kind of fade from this scene and back into kind of, you know, dreamless slumber. It was definitely a very, very vivid dream. Nicodemus, you are awoken by Telemon, like nudging you to tell you that it's time for your watch, third watch.
No, I was having a dream. Interesting. All right, I'll get my stuff.
It
You can
is
take a rest.
all right to dream, my friend. After today, I'm surprised it's not nightmares.
You see me look down at my palm as I
Yeah, you
get my
look down
stuff.
at your hand, and the scar is still there, and like there's kind of like a dull throbbing almost in your hand.
Does that still bother you?
It is fine.
I have my magic back now. Perhaps I could help it if you like.
Perhaps till morning.
In the morning, then.
Alright.
Sleep
So-
now.
Yeah, so you go to sleep, and Nicodemus, you're sitting on watch alone, and just kind of mulling over your experience. I guess like you would probably be pretty introspective during this. I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that was a very weird experience for you.
You've recovered half
Only-
your hit points if you missed that, Nico.
I did.
Yeah.
Go from 7 to 18.
You're still written at 7, from what I can see.
Put 18 in there.
Oh,
I never let go of the cell. Maybe that's why.
There you go.
all right. So, in the middle of the night, Nico, like you've only been on watch for like an hour, and you know it's getting late into the night. You hear some noises in the jungle, and you look over, and I want you now to make your watch roll here. Like we'll see if you precisely can get the jump on this. If it gets the jump on you, this is going to be with wisdom.
My wisdom is 0, so it's just 2. That is a fail.
All right, mark XP. Oh boy. Like you hear something on the edge of like this kind of clearing you're in, and I think you're perhaps a little bit too distracted by your dream to really, be on watch, honestly. And you look over and you see a person standing there on the edge of the forest with a crossbow pointed straight at you. And like his eyes are kind of glinting in the fire, and you look over and you see another person nearby. They're dressed in kind of not rags, but definitely kind of raggedy, rough-looking clothes. And like one of them has a scimitar at his side, one of them has a rapier, and you hear another motion in the like from the other side of the camp, and you see a couple more people, all kind of lining up around the firelight almost, and it is very obvious to you that they have their weapons drawn, and they are like they have completely surrounded the camp.
I go to my arms and I go, I give up. Yep. Don't shoot.
All right. So, do you say that loudly, or you just like say it in kind of a normal
Loud
tone?
enough that I think they would hear.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Who has been asleep? Telemon, you've only been asleep a little while. You're kind of roused a little bit by Nico, like kind of not shouting something, but saying something kind of loudly, and you start to wake up. The others of you like hear something, but it's like it's in the back of your mind.
Like, oh, what is it? Oh, I just got to sleep.
Yeah, you start to stand up or like sit up, like rubbing your eyes, I guess. And you like before you there is a person. He's got or actually she's got like black hair, and if you guys don't know this, but this is the same description I gave of Captain Paratha from the camp, and he's got like a finger, or she's got a finger to her lips, like just looking at you, Telemon, and you see that like there are several crossbows pointed in your direction.
Oh dear.
After a few moments, the like you can see them, like several of them are holding place on the edge of camp, and then several more who have like their swords drawn sneak in like very very quietly and start to divest like Regan and Padine of their arms, like trying to make sure that they don't have any weapons, and some other people go over to Rannick and Rundar. Regan, how many?
Bunches.
How many? Lots, I hear, but
more than half a dozen. You're looking about, and there looks like there's at least 8 of them. It's hard to tell because like the light of the fire is kind of in your vision, and you're still just waking up. Regan and Padine, you find yourselves being roughly kicked awake, and you see like you basically see pirates standing over you with weapons.
Who are you? I asked the nearest one.
He just like he kicks you, like to basically just like show you who's boss. And on the other side of the camp, like you hear like a scuffle, and you can look over and you see like several people trying to disarm Rannick and Rundar, and it seems obvious that they're they might not have been expecting minotaurs, and they're having a little bit of difficulty with those two. What does everybody do?
I'm actually
I'm making no aggressive moves.
Yeah.
thinking. Actually, I'm trying to think what I want to do here.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a few seconds to figure out how your characters would react. Like in the first few seconds of this, you're being brutally kicked awake. There's some yelling, but you can't really hear what's going on. Like people are like yelling to like wake up, you bastards.
Gotta help our Minotaur friends, and Vegan can't let these people take these things that are beyond their control.
You see somebody standing near you who's got like your like he's got your mace in his hand, like your holy mace. Like he's like studying it. He's got like a dagger in his other hand, and then you see somebody else standing.
I still have my Elven Curve throwing dagger in my belt?
Normally when you roll a 1 and then you roll a fail on this, you're not supposed to have any objects, but would you go to sleep with that like in your belt at all times?
Yeah, that's what I've always kind of played as.
I'm gonna say that you can have that there, that they probably didn't see it. Maybe they were too distracted by what's going on, and like you can definitely hear like a grunt of pain as somebody hacks hacks a weapon away from Rundar. Like Rundar apparently was trying to grab his club. There's like a commotion going on like in slow motion on the other side of the camp. Like it's not clear whether or not they're going to kill the Minotaurs, whether the Minotaurs are going to submit peacefully, whether the Minotaurs are going to fight back, and all this is happening right now at the camp.
I'll say, what do you want? To the one nearest me.
Oh, one thing I guess I should probably. I was planning on telling you this if we engaged, but this might actually adjust your decision somewhat, Padine. Your spells are back.
Yeah. All right.
But I'm going to be adjusting something on your sheet.
Oh, fun.
Instead, your max granted spells, instead of being equal to your cleric level +1, are now equal to your cleric level +2.
Huh. Why is that?
You feel as your powers come back, you feel like a greater access to them now.
Oh, cool.
Like you have better control over them than ever before. Regan, it's funny because you don't have it in your hand. You notice, like, as this guy is standing next to you, like, he's not even really paying attention to you too much. With your mace in his hand, you see, like, the runes on your mace are not lit up, like, brightly. There's, like, a kind of a low purple glow to them. But what shocks you is there is another set of runes that are smaller, that are beneath them, like wrapping around the mace, that you have never seen before. And they are also kind of glowing a little bit purpley. And
that is a sign.
Nicodemus, can I get you to roll 1d6?
Okay.
The first thing I'm going to do.
5.
Nice.
Add, all right, your maximum hit points are now increased by 5.
Wow. Nice.
Oh. I'll have to edit the
I
formula.
just changed it, and I think you changed it back.
Oh, I touched it. Trying to... yeah, okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Now
And all of this is
hardiest
permanent.
rat in the universe.
But I don't notice it at all. Because I'm not at maximum hit.
So So, do I have a good line on what looks like the most? Well, actually, what's the current like actual condition of our poor Minotaur friend that's getting beat up? Does it look like he has any kind of a chance?
Somebody is definitely getting beaten. It's a Minotaur, so he's extremely sturdy. He's bigger than like the 2 or 3 people beating him right now, and it seems clear that his brother is trying to like wrestle to go help him.
Well, given our they're putting my divine mission at risk, I am going to offer a prayer and attempt to bless our Minotaur.
Okay. Now, the thing with NPCs is they don't have stats or rolls like you guys do.
I think that's true. I mean, you could definitely. I mean, it seems like if he's in a fight for his life, like just buffing him up, I guess you could say what would happen if it's successful or not.
Let me read Bless. I'm getting the impression that you might still be able to do this, but I'd have to make up the effect.
It's usually a +1 ongoing as long as the battle continues and they stand.
All right, so you're just going
like
to so you're going to use your magic to bless which one, Rannick or Rundar? It looks like Rundar, the younger brother, but the bigger one. He's currently the one that's really getting wailed on, and Rannick is a little bit smaller, and he's currently struggling to like with hold of his spear with a very like 2 very large guys.
I'm gonna throw it on the littler one of the 2.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see if this works.
Give me a spell roll.
That's pretty darn good.
I'm going to double the effect and do it for both of them.
Oh, I love it. All right.
I'm going to. I'll take the -1 on it. For the bless. For the. Well, actually, wait a minute here.
We're going forward.
Okay, I'll take the -1. Yeah, going forward on it right now. I'll mark that down.
Okay.
So they're pretty much into it with the Rendar and Rundar.
They're not actively trying to kill them.
Are
like 2 of them have.
Rundar and Rennick like fighting though?
They definitely seem to be struggling. Like 3 of them are beating Rundar with like cudgels or the hafts of their spears. They're obviously not directly attempting to kill them, but it looks like they're starting to get a little bit frustrated, like that this is not going as planned. Like the other 2 are literally just trying to wrestle the spear away from Rannick. So they're not actively trying to kill them yet.
Okay. And I'm assuming the best dressed person is probably the female captain person?
Define best dressed.
The, like, cleanest clothes, the most stuff.
A little bit, but not to a great extent by any means.
Okay, so I can't really tell that she's, like, in command.
She seems to be the only woman there, and
Okay.
she's the only one like standing back.
Gotcha.
Like the only other people who are standing back are the ones holding the crossbows. Like she's standing back with like a rapier at her side, and she has her arms crossed, but she doesn't she's not dressed richly or anything. You could reasonably assume that she might be the leader.
Alrighty, so I'll call over to her and say, "What is it that you want?"
So you call and ask that, and she says, "Surrender now."
You want to surrender to us now? Okay.
Keep in mind that this is like we're not having rounds here, but this is kind of like only a few seconds. You can't have like an entire conversation with this woman. Because we have not heard from Telemon or Nicodemus yet.
Alrighty, I'll let them go too. But
I
that's
think
how
you
we
should
respond to
desist in
surrender.
beating our companions, or I may have words for you.
Who is he
Nicodemus?
directing that to?
I'm saying it to the fire lady.
I'm
Okay,
making
good.
no aggressive moves and I have my hands up.
You're just
So
holding
yeah,
your hands up.
The negative, right? We're all dead anyway. So, I'm staying alive.
All right, so Regan, what is like you're trying to do this under your breath almost, like trying to do it subtly.
Figure as soon as I utter the prayer, hopefully their eyes will do the brilliant flare thing on both of them. That'd be
Oh
pretty,
yeah, I'm just trying to determine if you're doing this in a subtle way or if you're just doing this openly.
Probably being subtle for the second, but I'm probably
Okay.
going to be very open with my next action. So.
Like it looks like the woman opens her mouth to say something again, and you guys hear like a crack from the other side of the camp, and you look over, and Rundar, the larger of the Minotaurs, has like grabbed two of the people who were previously beating him by the throats and has literally bashed their skulls into each other. And Rannick his like he kicks one guy in the groin and shoves him away, and he manages to wrest the spear from the other. And at that point, it is just utter chaos because the crossbowmen start to turn their bows on the Minotaurs, and the woman says, take them out! They're getting their weapons!"
Oh, the hell with this. Fireball!
Nice!
Alright, so where are you casting Fireball?
Oh, I want her and the crossbowmen, which are theoretically grouped the way you were talking.
Alright, I did mention that you were surrounded. So, you can't take them all out, and if you're attempting to hit a group, there is, you're going to have a party member who's going to have to roll to defy danger. Are you acceptable with this? I mean, like you basically already stated that you're going to be casting Fireball, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a leeway here since we're not doing this on a grid.
Is it Nico?
Fireball is a freaking area effect spell. You're all within the confines of your small camp. You might be able to cast it above and behind somebody and catch them, but like, it's very likely that unless you're just going to hit one person with this Fireball, you're probably going to hit either one of your teammates or one of your NPC companions with it, at least to some extent. You'd have to make some sort of roll.
Okay, I'll go just for her then.
You're gonna do a Fireball like back behind her and above, maybe, or something like that?
Yeah, if I can hit just her. The way it sounded, I assumed it was her if like a group of crossbowmen around her.
No, I described it as they were surrounding you.
Yeah, okay. But
not surrounding her.
Okay, well, I'll get just her then if I can avoid hitting an ally.
Okay. Give me a spell roll. That's definitely a success.
Nice!
Wow.
13.
Roll thine damage, wizard.
The spell's effects are maximized.
Yeah.
Empowered magic.
Nice.
Alright, so what are you taking as your negative?
I will take -1 ongoing. Actually, no. I'll go ahead and draw unwanted attention. Let's do that. Why not?
Oh, yeah,
That's a
that
big
sounds.
flashy spell.
Monsters
that
come out of
sounds-
the jungle too.
Alright, so you're doubling the effects
I can't. It has
or
it's
the,
only
the,
maximized.
the
for
damage.
wizard.
Alright, maximize.
It
Alright.
just does 12.
Okay. 12 damage to her. Holy shit! How much each?
12 damage,
Um,
and they don't get armor.
Oh, that's hilarious. She has exactly 12 HP. You
Actually,
fire
no,
it.
It might not be they don't get armor. I think it's actually so much armor. Fireball. No, ignores all armor.
Okay.
Wow.
You guys see Telemon, like, as all of the crossbowmen start to line up, like, their bows to obviously put down the Minotaurs. Telemon, like, sits up and, like, just this glow encompasses the camp, and you all look over and you see this fireball forming in his hands, and he casts it over. It flies.
Oh god, here we go
flies
again.
over. It flies over the woman's head, and like there's a moment, like a very brief like second, where she thinks like you missed. She doesn't have like a triumphant look, but like she looks relieved, like she dodged it or something. And it detonates behind her, and she is disintegrated.
Holy
This thing
son.
detonates with this brilliant light, and you guys see the outline of her skeleton for a few seconds, and then she just falls to ash. You hear, "Good gods!" Like it's like this purple like lump of clothing just flies up from the base of the camp. Like nobody had noticed him, not even the people surrounding you guys. They apparently just thought he was a pile of debris. And Sarcasmos, like, he wakes up as this explosion goes off. He's looking about like, what the hell has happened? Padine, what are you doing? You're still nominally surrounded, but it is absolute chaos.
Alrighty. Is there a crossbowman around who's like pointing his weapon, trying to figure out what's going on?
Well, there are crossbowmen who are basically in the action of who were in the action of going to shoot the Minotaurs.
But now they're a little confused.
Looks like some of them probably are still in the process of doing that, but some of them are also now turning back towards you guys.
I'll start to sing a song of the great barbarian that I learned, and it's a very, very loud song, and I'll direct it at one of the crossbowmen and unleash a crazed performance of the barbarian song as this kind of yellowish mist starts to go towards this crossbowman.
Is this it goes to 11?
Yes, that is correct.
Alright, so when you unleash a crazed performance, a righteous lute solo, or a mighty brass blast, choose a target who can hear you and roll charisma.
Nice roll.
Alright,
Good
on
for
a...
11.
Yeah,
I'll have
wow,
him
that's...
attack his nearest ally in range.
Yeah, on a 10 plus, the target attacks your nearest ally in range. Yeah, so this guy, like, he turns and his like, his hair is blasted back by this arcane sonic force, and he puts one hand like to the side of his head, and you see like blood start to seep from his ears, and he's just like shaking his head and stumbling back and yelling like he's being attacked by something. He raises his crossbow to fire it at you, Padine, and he fires, but it misses, and it hits the guy next to him, and the guy next to him just takes it like right in the neck, and he has this surprised look on his face as he falls down dead.
Nice.
Nicodemus?
Ow! That went quickly. I die for the guy who dropped his crossbow.
Oh yeah, so you died for the crossbow.
Yep.
Yeah, you grab it, and like you roll up into like a like a little rattling commando stance.
And I shoot the guy that's closest to me with, I'm guessing,
Oh,
loaded
like
crossbow.
a point blank shot.
Yep.
Okay. Give me a volley here.
Like, next one, right? Eh. 8.
Right. On an 8, choose one. You have to move to get the shot placing you in danger. You
I
have
do
to
that.
take.
I already
Okay.
done that.
Alright.
It's point blank.
So you dive over to it, and I think actually diving over to it is what places you in the danger. You move up and you turn, and you place this crossbow right at this guy's belly, and you fire as he comes down with like a dagger at you. Alright, you deal
2 damage.
2 damage. Roll that again. You're rolling with advantage because you've got it right up against him. Yeah, you do 6 damage. The crossbow like flies through his stomach and out his back. He let's see here. He hits you with like a downward dagger. For 5.
Ouch.
So it's a fairly even exchange, but you take it much better than he does, and he stabs you in the shoulder, and then you just fire, and his eyes go wide, and he looks down, and like you fired this crossbow straight through him. He starts to stagger backwards, like clutching, like with one hand clutching this wound.
Did you count for armor?
Yeah.
So it should be 4.
Yeah, well, I'm not telling you what his HP is.
Oh no, for Nicodemus. I think he lowered himself 5.
Yeah, I was at 17. I went down to 13. Yeah.
Oh really? When did you lose the other point?
He only has 1 armor.
I thought you were at 18.
Was I?
You were at
That's
17. I remember 17 being said
thought,
earlier.
I thought 17, but okay.
All right. my bad.
And you've only got 1 armor, right?
Yeah, because Spawn isn't there.
Okay. Regan, like, you see all this chaos about you, and you see one of the Minotaurs just get lit up with crossbow bolts. What do you do?
First question: the guy that has my mace, is he still holding it?
He's right next to you, and he's just looking at the scene. Like, he's a younger guy, thin, looks like he's definitely kind of the runt of the pack, and his jaws dropped. He's just staring at the at the carnage around him.
I think what I'm gonna have to do is I need a weapon before I can be very useful. So I'm going to attempt to use my mace to make him see the realms beyond and horrify him, and these cause fear against him on my mace.
Okay, give me a spell roll. That's awesome.
Oh.
What's your negative? Oh, were you using your -1 there?
Yes, I was. I have 3 wisdom
Okay.
now.
All right.
And I have Sanctuary running for the other spells, so.
Well, it's not active.
Your Sanctuary.
But not Sanctuary, Serenity. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I misspoke.
So what
I
is
will
your
take,
negative?
Unwanted attention. I'm okay with I'm just going
boy.
to turn to him and rasp out a horribly over loud, almost echoingly loud, raspy mine as I go to take my mace back now.
So you don't see this, but in his eyes, like, his eyes go wide, and he looks down and he sees your mace. Like, the symbols are glowing brilliantly purple, and there's just black tendrils extending from this thing everywhere. It looks like he's holding a black shadow almost, and like, the tendrils start to reach up and, like, slither into his eyeballs and up his nose and into his ears, and he just screams and he drops the mace and he starts fleeing. You hear a crack, and you hear, "Take that, you ruffian!" As Sarcasmos, like, jumps up and just cracks him over the head with his staff, and knocks the guy to the ground. And yeah, your mace lands right next to you.
I am positively taking that back, and I'll be trying to cast Holy Weapon at the
All right,
first
as
opportunity.
you place your hand on your mace, you feel like a almost electric shock run up your arm. You now know, and actually you're probably going to want to write this on your mace now. Let's see here.
Ooh, get to find out what those runes do, maybe.
I don't see your mace in your inventory anywhere.
It's under Regan's belt.
Regan's belt.
Bottom
Regan's
left.
Regan's bell mace. Right in parentheses next to it, that is now empowered. When you are using a spell on it or through it, you get to roll with advantage.
Oh, wow, that's very, very awesome.
And yeah, like, you place your hand on it, and, like, you know immediately, like, this thing is a much better conduit for your magic now. It seems like it's been magically enhanced.
Regan's going to smile as he attempts to cast Magic Weapon on it, I guess, before the I can still do that this turn anyway.
Yeah, I would say that this would be like, maybe you're reaching for it and preparing yourself to cast Magic Weapon. And we'll do that before we move on to the next person.
Nice. I will forget the spell. That is awesome. Saved me a fail here.
Yep. Okay. All right. So your weapon is now empowered, and it flares brilliantly purple. Like, it's not even like indigo blue now. Like, it's like mostly just this brilliant purple, like the same color as your runes almost. And
oh, that's awesome.
Let's see here. Telemon, You've cast this fireball and just vaporized this woman, and you get to your feet. Like I assume do you look around for any of your like, if you had to grab one piece of equipment immediately, what would you grab?
My equipment?
Yeah.
Probably my staff.
Okay, so like you're grabbing your staff as you're sitting up, and you see two of these pirates with raised scimitars just literally charging at you. Like they're running at you. They're raised. They're yelling, and they're just like running to cut you down.
I'm on my feet or not?
Like you've literally just gotten to your feet. How do you wish to defy this danger?
I wish run away.
All right, so this
That's
seems
great.
this seems like dexterity.
Yeah, I could just fireball them, but then I'll catch someone else, and that's not gonna be. I can't do that. No, that's not happening. Let's run away with 2d6, and we get 8. I get to make a choice.
Yeah.
Well, I only have the staff, so.
Oh, you've only got your staff. You can run, but you're going to be leaving everything in the camp, including your friends. That's not your entire choice, though. Let's see here. I got to come up with something a little bit more balanced. That was a very binary choice, though. Yeah, actually, like you can run to escape this damage of these two guys, but it will mean leaving your party to fend for itself for several turns, quote unquote.
Yeah, that's not happening. I'm not running away into the darkness. Not a light or anything.
Okay. So like you stand to defend, like, you know, you stand and like maybe try to block one of these guys with your staff, I guess. Can you roll 1d6 plus 1. All right, so yeah, you take 4 damage as both of these guys, like, you know, attack you and slash at you, and you're beating back their attempts with your staff, but like they're relentless, and one of their blades like sinks into like your left forearm or something, and you hiss and you kind of like back away, and they're kind of slowly backing you away from the party anyway. Nicodemus, you hear a yell, like a deep bass yell from the other side of the camp where the Minotaurs were, and you just hear a "Rundar, no!" And you see Rannick just like slicing about with his spear left and right, like trying to fend these guys off, and he seems to be moving towards his brother who's like down on the ground with several crossbow bolts in him. What do you do?
Rush to his aid.
Okay. So like you.
I wish to defend the downed Minotaur.
Yeah. All right. Give me a defend roll. With Khan.
Wait, only one. There's supposed to be 2.
Roll one more now.
2.
Yeah, one roll, one more.
My keyboard is not cooperating today. Area.
Okay, so that is a 9. Wait, hang on. Let me see here. You may have an option here.
I think it's hold 2. I think.
No, I mean you might get a 10 out of this. Yeah, wait here. Rundar is the protector. Rennick is the warrior. Okay. All right. So, like Rennick backs up next to you to help you with this. You hold 2.
I
I
believe
think-
so, yes. 9, I think, is a 2.
Hold 1.
Okay.
Yeah, you on 7 and 9 hold 1. Yeah, like they immediately kind of set upon you. Like you and Rannick are both kind of trying to defend Rundar, who's obviously bleeding on the ground and like reaching for his club. What do you want to spend your hold to do?
Deal damage to the attackers equal to my level.
Okay,
attacker.
would you like Rannick to help you with that? His ability as the warrior lets him add man-at-arms. When you deal damage while a warrior aids you, add their skill to the damage done. If your attack results in consequences, the man-at-arms takes the brunt of it. His skill is, I think, warrior 2... Yeah, he would be adding 2 damage.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That would be 6. As he gets close, I just claw at his eyes.
Yeah, so you ooh, that's exactly enough. You clawed his eyes and you distract him. Like you bring him down, and Rannick just moves next to him and spears him straight through the chest. You hear like another howl next to you, and it seems like you look over at Rundar's taken like another slash to the arm as like one last, like the guy next to you who you kind of ignored to attack this other guy has gone in to kind of attack the downed Rundar. Padine,
Yes.
what are you doing?
I will keep singing my barbaric song and turn it towards one of the fellows who's attacking Telemon.
Okay, yeah, there's 2 of them on Telemon. That seems like a very wise choice here. Give me a roll.
Oh, 8 is then also another target. If I remember right. Let me see.
It goes to 11 on a 7 to 9. They attack your nearest ally, but you also draw their attention and ire.
Okay.
You direct your bardic song at this guy, and like the same effects happen as before. He just starts slashing around wildly, and he slashes the other guy's throat and just opens it straight up and kills him. But as soon as that happens, like you kind of you stop your song, and he rushes at you, and will you defy the danger of this guy just charging straight at you?
I sure will, and unfortunately, the drawback to that is I cannot try to charm him now because he's deaf, so I won't be doing that. Because that's what I was going to try to do is defy
Yeah, like
it by...
it doesn't even seem like he can hardly even see you. He's just like maybe it's not even that you stopped your attack. It's that like he's charging through the noise, trying to slice at the source of this.
Alrighty, I'll try to do my ninja roll to try to get by him to go towards Telemon.
So you're gonna
Closer
try
to
to
him.
like go back to back with Telemon while simultaneously dodging
Yeah.
this guy. That's definitely Dex. That's
Yay!
success. So yeah,
Nice.
you dive next to him or like past him. You let up on your song, and that actually makes him stumble past you because he's no longer having to move move through the sonic force, and you go straight next to Telemon. Regan, did you take the negative of taking unwanted attention?
Yes, I did.
I think he dropped his fear, though, right?
Yes, I was mentioning that when that guy got knocked out, I'm going to drop my fear on him for what it's worth. But I still already casted it, so I do have unwanted attention.
I don't remember a negative against Regan.
I vaguely remember him saying that he would take unwanted attention, and he seems to remember too.
Yep, I took unwanted attention with the magic. I think it was the magic weapon or the cause fear. And
yeah.
I took the -1 with bless in the beginning.
You're there. You're sitting there. You've just magicked your weapon. You're sitting there, or standing there, like looking at the scene, trying to best determine what you could do, and from behind you, like you feel an arm clasp. Like over your throat, and you get kind of yanked backwards, and it's the same guy who Sarcasmos had conked over the head and knocked to the ground. Like you had basically kind of written him off, and he jumped back up and came straight back for you. Can you you're now in kind of a chokehold almost. How would you like to defy this danger?
Well, I guess, yeah, if I'm in a chokehold, I probably, can I still speak, or can I not speak? I'm just curious.
You could probably utter some words.
How close am I to the nearest dead body?
Couple feet.
I may beg for the petition of my deity and beg him for the help in this case so I can carry out his will, and hope that perhaps I can bring that body back to grab this guy from behind.
Ooh, okay, so this is going to be interesting. Alright, this is going to be defying danger with charisma. You are pleading with your deity.
Okay. I wouldn't roll the enemy dead yet, I'd first roll the charisma. Okay. That makes sense. That's actually kind of a neat way to handle it. Hold on a second, let me check my bonuses. I think it's a 1. Yes, it is. Cross your fingers. And of course I failed
Mark
that.
XP. God, you have way too much XP.
Probably muttering verbally.
Yeah, like you're trying to plead with he who cannot be named to raise this body next to you to smite your enemy, and the blood is being cut off to your head, and like you're just having a hard time like really putting your thoughts together. Can you roll 1d4 for me, please? You take 3 damage. Armor does not affect this.
Copy that.
As this guy, starts to choke you out.
I guess,
From like behind you, over your shoulder, you hear like, "Hey, quit that! What are you doing?" And like you hear like a smacking as Sarcasmos is just like whacking this guy repeatedly with his small staff, and the guy's like cursing. Who is doing what?
I wish. So right now there's one guy on Regan, and there's multiple guys on the Minotaurs, right?
Yeah, there seem to be 2 more.
I'm still standing in defense.
Yeah. Nicodemus is like Nicodemus and Rannick are trying to defend Rundar, and there seems like there's 2 guys over there. There's one guy who was attacking you, Telemon, who just Padine just dodged around, and then there's another guy choking at Regan. So there seems to be like 4 guys total.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me. 6. There are 2 crossbowmen just kind of standing at the edge of the camp, like doing their thing.
I wish to hold the guy off that's attacking with my staff while I cast magic missile on him.
Oh, wait. Isn't Hauser and the guy on your staff, didn't I get one killed and the other one ran at me?
Is that right? There was one guy on me which died, and then the other one ran at Padden, right?
Yeah.
Nico's rolling for something.
That was my standing defense roll.
Okay.
Okay, all gonna go magic missile then against.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
one-
so like this guy just stumbled past Padine, and you're gonna like arcane bolt him in the ass.
Yeah. Plus 3 is
Ooh, that's
Ooh,
definitely a
damn.
success.
15. I will double the
Holy
targets.
crap!
I
Double
will,
the
nice.
targets.
Yeah, I will
Uh,
take the one that's attacking Haddon and the one that's on Regan.
Ooh, nice. We
That
get a
is
little bit
slick.
of Iron Man smart rockets here as he headshots the guys with the hostages.
Only for 3 though, and I have to take a negative. I'll take -1 ongoing.
Roll 2d4 again since this is to 2 targets.
Okay. Eight.
The one standing. This is gonna be interesting for Regan. Regan, you're getting choked out, and it seems like the goblin is furiously trying to beat this guy away from you with his staff, but he's having very little effect. And then all of a sudden, this guy's head just explodes in this purple mist as like an arcane bolt shrieks over your shoulder, like inches from your own head, and just explodes this guy's head. And there's a moment where like his body is still there, twitching, standing, and like it falls down, and maybe you turn around and you look at like the smoldering neck of this guy, and like Sarcasmos is standing next to you, and you're both looking at each other at the corpse, and then you both kind of turn and look at Telemon. This other guy takes like just kind of a bolt to the ass, like it's exactly what I described. It's he gets kind of knocked down into the dirt, but he eventually starts to come back up. Nicodemus, you're standing in defense. And yet again, let's see here. I really need to read defend because I don't necessarily think we're using it how it's supposed to be. Let's yeah, I guess it's gonna get attacked again. You had hold 3.
This one I'm going to do 3 action. I'm going to redirect an attack from the thing you defend to yourself. Half the attack's effect or damage and deal damage to attacker equal to my level.
Okay. Alright, so
It's gonna be a combo move.
yeah, so this spearman comes back around and like it looks like he's about to try to finish Rundar. And I think you body check him and knock him back a few feet, but you're a ratling, so like you can't knock him down completely. And
While
he turns
simultaneously stabbing him in the gut. with my
yeah, well, like
claws.
he turns to like slash at you, and deals you. Can you roll 1d8, please?
1d. Uno.
Yeah, one damage,
which is negated by armor.
yeah, and halved. Anyway, so you take 0.5, which is reduced by your armor. And like
Give him a
he
look that says
slashes
that was
across
weak,
your
dude.
armor, and then you just like you stab him, like you straight up like stab him, I think. And can you roll your damage, please? Or no, it's not
it's
damage.
just
It's
4.
your level. That kills him. He slashes at you, and I think maybe he tumbles. And for a second, he looks up, and he's on your level, and you just like stab him in the throat, like not even having to move.
Tumble failed.
And the last guy, like he sees this, and he sees everybody dead, and he drops his weapon, and he like flees off into the woods. There's 2 more crossbowmen, and they run off after him.
Well,
You should have surrendered when you had a chance.
Telema, we need your healing magics.
Yeah, I rush over to the downed Minotaur, see if he's still breathing.
Yeah, there's like a very heavy panting. Like you kind of roll him over, and he's taken 3 crossbow bolts, like 1 to the chest, or 2 to the chest, and like 1 kind of to the side of the abdomen. And
I wish to try to cure him if he's still breathing.
yeah. Give me a spell roll.
D6 plus 2 is bad time to roll low 9. I don't want to lose it. I'll take -1 again.
All right. Roll thine cure.
Bet on 1. I bet it. Watch me 1.
Oh, 6 actually. It's not bad.
Yeah, you start to stabilize his wounds, and like it looks like he's going to be not out of it. Like he'll probably be fit to travel, but not fit for fighting for a little while. And like as you do this, Rannick's kind of like standing over you, and after you're done, he says, "Thank you for saving my brother's life."
Quick question.
And he,
Okay, go ahead. No,
well,
continue with
he also turns to Nicodemus and like places a hand on your shoulder, and he just gives you like a nod and like a long look.
Do I need to know how to use poultices and herbs?
No, I mean like some background in RP is best. Like if you were somebody who wouldn't know, but I mean you would probably know.
I have them because we needed someone to carry them in the dungeon. But
Do you want to apply those?
yeah, if I know how. I don't really think I have much experience in herbs. Perhaps so it's better for someone else to do it.
I can think of somebody who might.
Shall I try?
Yeah, I give them to Nico.
All right. So what were you up to, Regan?
Basically, I first had a question. I'm guessing the undead and supernaturally undead in this game don't require like a physical means to see, given things like skeletons and stuff, right?
Yeah, that's one thing that we kind of played a little bit loosely the first time around because you weren't supposed to be able to animate long dead corpses, but that just seems so lame to me. So yeah, you can animate skeletons and stuff.
Okay, that's
It
cool
might
to
be
know,
it might
but
be a little bit harder though.
musically, that's not what I was trying to do here, but it was mostly about the way that they sense things. Because what I
Mm,
actually
yeah.
want to do, as soon as this guy bites the dust and the other ones run off, I don't want them to come back or bring reinforcements. So I am going to slam my arm right down this stub of where he used to have a head and grab onto his spinal column and utter my words and attempt to bring him back with the single mission of hunting the other ones down.
Ooh, headless zombie time.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
my.
why.
So you start to do this, and you see Sarcasmos like standing next to you, and he's obviously studying you, and he says, "Oh, this is most interesting," and like he's studying you as you're working, and he says, "Could you use some help in this? I have no experience in this matter of magic, but I have plenty of raw power myself."
See him start to smile, then when he says he has no experience in this matter, his smile drops to a frown. But then he'll say, "You may do what you can, but just let him
Your
take the
smile's
lead."
probably going to change a little bit because he is an Adept 3. We're going to be adding Sarcasmos to your hirelings here soon. As far as Adepts go, an Adept is at least apprenticed to an arcane expert, but is not powerful in their own right. They're the grad students of the arcane world. When an Adept aids in the casting of a spell of lower level than their skill, the spell's effect have greater range, duration, or potency. The exact effects depend on the situation and the spell and are up to the GM. Is this a third level spell?
It normally is, but I have the thing that makes it a first level spell.
Oh, so he
I
can
don't know if it
definitely
matters.
help with this. He seems to understand a little bit of what's going on. Like he's not versed in raising the dead, but he apparently maybe he's versed in conjuration
Ooh,
and
that's
like
interesting.
conjuring spirits. And the way you do this is you conjure a spirit to inhabit this body. And he seems to comprehend that, and like he comments like, "Oh yes, if you make the circle around, if you make a circle around the body, and then you do this," and he draws a circle with the staff. Yeah. So give me your roll here for the spell.
Okay, just roll like normal.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think he adds
Okay.
to your roll. It just adds to the effects.
Because of course I suck.
No.
Oh man.
I never have any luck, man. That spell always fails for me.
You're rolling in the
A lot
experience
of
points.
spells always fail for you.
So this is. Let me look.
He's totally gonna blame the distraction. Drawing circles didn't help, damn it! I mean, it's definitely, high-rolling ability's awesome.
The sad
though.
part is you're not even rolling bad stats. You're just rolling horribly.
Yeah. 1s and 3s and 2s. And usually a 1 with one of those other two.
I'm 4 XP already into level 6 now, or getting towards level 6.
Hang
Oh
on.
my gosh.
Oh, wait.
He stops you. I think this is going to be part of his aid here. He says, "What about your totem?" And you see his eyes like looking over at your holy mace at your side, and he says, "Perhaps you could better channel the spirits through that." Would you
definitely give that a shot after looking at those?
So
runes
like you
again.
want to like place it like handle first in the ground, kind of like a totem. If you do so, I'll let you roll with advantage on this roll. Like you're basically using the empowered part of your mace to do this. It's not something that you could do all the time, but like given that you have help and you have time here, I'll let you roll that check once again because you're empowered.
I was thinking maybe if I was going to use the mace, kind of like slamming it more or less like into his chest, kind of, and like having the energy flow into it, kind of thing.
No, if you want to do that, that's totally fine.
Seems like the kind
breathe,
of.
Damn you!
So let me see if my second roll is any better than the last one.
Yeah.
Are you sure you have any sort of natural aptitude towards this? He says, he's like looking at it for a few seconds. What happens on an 8? You do the spell,
I
right?
do the spell just like any other spell that way, so I need to pick a disadvantage. I guess I'll cause unwanted attention in this case.
I have to comment that I find it hilarious that the arcanely empowered wizard is seeing to the living laying on the ground, while the clericalness is dealing with the dead laying on the ground.
Yep.
Well, while he's doing this, I'll be coming over to Nicodemus, and I'll tell him, I believe my magics have returned, and I'll say a prayer to Felindaria and cast Cure Light Wounds on Nicodemus.
Yeah, give me a spell roll.
I need to roll one more thing too.
The first time I've seen you do that.
Yeah, we gotta get one more roll from Regan.
Whew, barely. And I will take, let's see here, I'm going to do, the next time you can, crap. I'm going to revoke it now.
Okay.
Wasn't quite as good as the wizards though, but I do feel better.
Well, I have to give you the hit points.
Wasn't the
Why are you only rolling
okay, never mind.
1d4?
I think I rolled a 2 for the capabilities, by the way.
Yeah,
There you
one
go.
D-
I
one
take that
D4
back.
is
You
his
were much better than
capabilities.
the wizard.
All right, so
I'm gonna
yeah,
go with,
you're
it's durable and it's talented with a plus modifier to Dex.
okay. So on the
Whatever
one
would be good for running.
on the one
things
side
down.
of the camp, we've got Padine like healing Nicodemus rather well for the first time, I think. Like
21.
it seems like everything's starting to go better now that we don't have that fiddle.
Yeah.
And Regan, like you've smacked this thing in the chest and nothing's happened for several seconds, and Sarcasmos thinks like, like, are you sure this is going to? Oh dear Lord! And like it starts to get up from the ground, and like stand up, and yeah, you guys like you see this headless corpse just kind of stand upright. Just fascinating.
As soon as I get it on the ground or get it standing, I'm definitely going to tell it a single order, and that's to make sure they do not return.
You want to do the Vader order? Find them and destroy them.
Pretty much.
And find them and destroy them.
See, Regan is slowly becoming Darth Vader in both characters.
Yeah.
I'm
so,
a little taken aback by this. I'll be like,
it literally
wow.
just it shifts its chest in your direction for a second, like almost like it had turned to look at you, and then it just shambles off into the jungle in the direction where they fled.
Like sending their
pretty
own.
vengeful.
I just find it odd to note that in this character, he's giving the orders to Darth Vader, while in the other character in a different universe, he's acting
taking-
like posed that way.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely going to be satisfied. That should keep them off our back.
Raiders from the Iron Camp. I have no idea what they're doing this far into the jungle, however.
Yes, this is quite a ways.
Have you pissed them off recently?
I was trying to find out what they wanted, but we didn't really have a chance for that to pan out.
Well, I
You
had.
think we should perhaps press on or finish out our night and then press on in the
Perhaps.
morning?
Perhaps this is just what happens when you roll a 1.
What is this rolling you speak of, young maid, or I guess
he-
small one?
He pulls like a sack from his belt and like a pair of archaic D20s made out of bone.
These are the dice of destiny.
Yes.
Oh, do you wish to know more? Perhaps I should cast the bones then.
Rannick approaches you guys and says, perhaps we should give Rundar a few hours and then break camp.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
There's no telling. I've never heard of them being this deep in the jungle before. They do
Have I
not
seen
venture.
once again?
We should at least see if the ones who remain have anything important. I doubt they would, but there may be something useful.
Oh yeah. Let's see
Yeah,
here.
let's search them.
Um,
Search that pile of ash over there.
Well, I doubt
Yeah.
there'd be anything in that, but the other ones might.
I don't think her just
I'm breaking up heavily on Air One, just so you know.
Let's see here. Can the party give me 2 1d10s? I shall consult the tables.
The tables of destiny.
It's certainly better than the Tables of Doom.
Yes.
Somebody give me a 1d20.
Tell her, Nico. Hasn't rolled
Just-
yet.
I will cast the mystical bones of GM knowledge.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Yeah, 10.
Did you say 20?
You said
Oh,
1d20. I rolled a 10.
oh, okay.
Um,
The dice it showed was a 10. That was kind of weird.
That was a 20. Well, mine was.
you let's see here.
Don't get to roll 20s too much in this system.
Telemon, you're looking around the corpses, and you managed to come across like 10 coin in total.
Indeed.
Padine, you mentioned that you were going to go sift through the ashes.
Mm-hmm. Over by there.
You find a sword just like lying there next to the ashes.
What kind
It
of
is
sword?
it is a fine rapier.
Ooh.
Does 10 coin have weight?
There are weight increments in the book, but you don't have to worry about it at this level.
I put down 1 weight for the 150 coins just because.
Yeah.
As a
Technically,
side note, I mainly use that poultice and herbs, probably because I wanted to help him. But secondary, I've noticed that the Book of Korin has 1 weight attached to it, and I've never had it with 1 weight before.
yeah. Well, you will get some RP bonus for using poultices. Like you're actually going to be able to move out with him now. And he'll probably heal. So you find this rapier, and at first, like, you don't think it's too much because it's kind of singed and it's got ash on it, but then you start cleaning it off and you realize it is actually a fine example of a rapier. It's got a long, thin, well-made blade, and the handle and the hilt are not incredibly ornate, but they are finely crafted, and there's like there's a faint kind of gold inlay in the like the little I have no idea, like
Hilt?
it's not a hilt though.
Pommel?
Though it's
Pommel, yeah.
it's is it literally just like it's you know the rapiers that the Three Musketeers use?
Uh-huh.
You know how there's like a
It's like a
shield?
handguard.
Yeah, like there's a handguard. I'm wondering
Yeah.
if that's literally just called a hilt or if it's called a handguard. Anyway, it's not like a full handguard or anything. It's not terribly ornate. It's made out of steel like the the rest of the sword, but it looks like there was some etchings that were filled in with gold in there. They're not terribly bright, but like it does add some value to it. And then at the very hilt, like at the pommel, there is a ruby.
Okay.
Not a huge
From
one.
what I'm looking at now, it seems to just be called the guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can let's see here. Let me find rapier. This is actually a dueling rapier. So it weighs a little bit more. But it's going to make up for it. A normal rapier is 1 weight. It's only close and precise. A dueling rapier is 2 weight. Close, precise, 1 piercing. And since this is a very fine example, it's 1 piercing and +1 damage.
What does a piercing do again? I forgot.
Ignores armor.
Well, ignores 1
You-
point of armor for 1
Yeah.
piercing.
Piercing ignores
Okay,
armor.
that makes sense. I will have to consult for my short sword, as it does have some sentimental value to me. Interesting.
Yeah, regardless, it seems like this is at least worth a pretty penny. If you were not to use it, it's definitely a good find.
Alright, so crossbows.
Yeah, there's some like crossbows lying around, but several of the guys ran away. And
There's at least one though that Nico had earlier. I think. He's
That's
down
what I
to
was
that
asking.
one.
yeah,
if I
like
were to-
there's just the one.
I'm gonna read that as Nico wants a crossbow.
I need a ranged
Look here.
weapon.
A crossbow is 3 weight.
Ooh,
It
pretty
is
heavy.
near. It is +1 damage, and it has the reload tag. Reload is after you attack with it. It takes more than a moment to rest for another attack.
Crossbows make good weapons to fire once and then switch
Yep.
to like a melee in this kind of situation.
I pick it up and go, ugh, this is a lot heavier than I thought it was. And I put it back down.
Yep.
Because it would take 1 weight for the bolts too, so it would be like 4 weight. Perhaps I find
There's
someone
not a
to make
whole
me
lot of-
some.
There's not a
throwing
whole lot of
daggers or
+1 damages, so that's why it's kind of 3 weight by standard.
Wow, Regan, for having a lot in your inventory, you don't have much weight being carried.
So I got something to do after everybody goes to sleep, but
Yeah, so you take watch again, and Sarcasmos I think stays up. He can't go back to sleep. If you want to talk to him, he'll definitely like make some idle chatter with you. But if it seems like you're busy, he'll just stick to the other side of the campfire.
I'm gonna ripper the corpses of the guys. That's why.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of grisly.
You're gonna
yes. Ripper is an ability that he has. Specifically, You are skilled at harvesting reagents from the bodies of all manners of creatures. When you set to work on a corpse, the GM will tell you a body part that is useful in creating potions, bombs, and/or mutagens in certain conditions. When you use the item under these conditions, take +1 forward to create the alchemical item in question.
For what it's worth, Regan will be helping bury the bodies after he's ripped them to pieces.
Let me see here. I have to go back up to mutagens.
Does anybody want a short sword before I do my little ritual?
I have no weight.
You may keep it.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. I have 6 weight, and 4 of that weight is in books.
I have to wait for it, but I can't see my character using a short sword. Just doesn't seem to fit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe in a real desperate pinch, but not as a rule.
Something as immune to blunted weapons or something.
Yeah, something along those lines.
So it seems kind of grisly there, Nicodemus, but you would know that the human heart, if collected and rendered down into proper ingredients, could be used in a mutagen. And do I have to let's see here? Yeah, it would be used in a mutagen that would specifically give you like increased physical endurance.
Would that be plus con? Is that what you're saying, or just like run longer? Like
the way that
flavor-wise?
Ripper reads, I'm supposed to what I can just like the thing the question here is when you make a mutagen, you get to choose from those advantages. So if I were to tell you something that it's good at, you would have to roll and try to like with the purpose of taking one of those advantages, and then you would get the +1 to the roll. So you would get like +1 ongoing to like this would be useful for a +1 ongoing to constitution.
Yeah, I knew this would be questionable.
Oh
ethics.
wait,
That's why I said after everybody went to sleep. But yeah.
Yeah, you could either use this for the con advantage, or at any time you may take 1 debility to shrug off damage.
Okay. I was just throwing it out there.
Make the rat even more tanky.
Tanky rat.
I mean, he's
Frankenstein
already
rat.
like he's got hit points as if he had a Constitution score of like what 20-some, 19.
Yes.
Yep.
Like later I'd be like I drink a potion, all of a sudden I'm this like the big burly rats from cartoons.
You're gonna be Conan Rat.
Yeah, his strength wouldn't be good enough. He'd be like Hulk Rat. Of course, I guess that's like
So,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Rat.
you guys wake up in the morning and proceed through the jungle.
We heal any more damage from that fight or no?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you'd have to expend more rations.
Okay, that's fine.
If you're willing to expend more rations, you can heal another half.
During the time associated with letting Rundar, was it Rundar who was down or Rannick who was down?
Rundar.
During Rundar's recovery, could I prepare spells again, or is that too much and no?
Yes.
Yay.
Alright, so let's get a... Actually, this is not going to be a perilous journey, I don't think, because you have a tracker. Let me look this up.
Coming out of the jungle is easier than going into the jungle.
Well, that and going someplace that the tracker knows, I think.
Knows already, yeah. Regan,
Trackers-
did you want that?
Trackers know the secrets of following a trail, but they don't have the experience to deal with strange creatures, exotic locales, blah blah blah. Guide. When a tracker leads the way, you automatically succeed on any perilous journey of a distance in rations lower than the tracker's skill. I'm going to say lower or equal to, since his skill is 1. He can get you to here. That clearing, basically. Like, he can get you to the edge of the jungle, and the rest of the journey you'll make yourself. And you guys can make that journey without having to worry about rolls. Or at least rolls for automatically succeeds. I wonder if that means everything. Yeah. Yeah, you succeeded everything, so no rations are consumed during the journey, and you arrive on good time without making contact with anybody. It takes you guys basically a day to get there, but yeah, that happens. So during this time, where's my jungle effects here? During this time, Rundar is not terribly well. He's pretty silent, but Rannick helps him along, and like towards the end of the day, he seems to be regaining his strength thanks to your healing poultice. And towards the end of the day, you come out of the jungle at last and emerge into like one of the few grassy plains, very small grassy plains on the island. And at the far end of your vision, you can definitely see the beach.
Yay!
You're probably within just a couple hours of the ship.
Will we be able to make it before evening?
It's getting evening now. If you want to trek through the night, you could probably reach it before it's terribly dark.
I think we should push on.
Very well.
As soon as it gets too dark, I'll cast light, but I'm voting push on as well.
Okay.
Find out what, if anything, is left of the boat.
I will try to cast light as well. That way we can have light sources from 2 different ends.
All right, give me rolls. All right,
And
so
I fail.
um,
That's through my mace, I guess, so I get to roll an advantage.
Oh, I was
Yep.
gonna say.
Padine, you fail.
I failed. Yeah.
You lose the spell.
Aw.
And so we have Regan at the front leading with his glowing mace.
I will
And-
take out my torch and light it then.
Okay.
You know what? That actually should have been a -1 because I still have Animated Dead running technically. So yeah, I would be at 9. I'll lose the spell.
It doesn't. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry about
You guys make your way down to the beach and then follow the beach westward towards the wreck of the ship. I think we called it the Saber. You see it on the horizon, kind of like silhouetted as it's getting dark. It looks somewhat like you left it. It seems like the back end has been is kind of drifted further out into sea, and there's a lot less detritus around. And the forward end of the ship has sunk a little bit deeper into the sand, but it seems to have kind of leveled out.
Is there stuff here?
I run to where my cabin would have been.
Yeah, so like you would have left it on the ship, I take it.
Yeah.
So you run to the ship, And I think as you guys do, you notice some graves like nearby. These were the graves that you guys saw that were being dug for the people who died during the wreck. But then you see
Regan
some
dug
like
some of those graves.
yeah, you see some other graves that are closer to the ship. That
That are
definitely
new.
were not here when you guys left.
Are there any markings by those?
No.
Like they had some more trouble
Unmarked
after they left.
graves.
Like there's no markings on any of the graves.
Yeah, you can't exactly, chisel heads to it or something in the middle of this. I guess you could write on wood if you had something,
Yeah.
but that's not exactly like something you might have at hand.
Especially when you don't have time. So you guys get up to the ship, and Nicodemus, you smell kind of like the smell of dried blood in here as you board the ship.
I keep an eye out as I go.
Yeah.
Perhaps monsters have taken over the ship.
Yeah, you guys were never really told of what happened. Those people were pretty
That's right.
pretty tight-lipped about like the information you needed to know, but willing to come forth with the stuff that made no difference.
Hold on, just a moment, Nico, and I will light your way. I will cast light upon Nico's whatever he wants to have lit, so that he has something to look for what he's looking for.
Nice.
And I'll just accept it and take no penalty.
What does he cast light on, Nico?
He cast light
tail.
on. Yeah, my tail. Can he do that? I have a glowing tail.
Yeah. You're walking through the ship, and your eyes constantly glance back at like the flick of your tail. And there's definitely more than a few moments where you're very distracted by it, but you eventually kind of make your way to the ship, or through the ship and down one level into the cargo hold where you find your chest. There's some cracks in the side of the hull that weren't here before. You see like a shriveled up, it looks like kelp, somehow was dragged through the hull, and then is like just dried here. And
I pick up a piece and try tasting it.
tastes kind of like salty paper almost. Like there's not much to
yeah.
it.
This would not make a good meal. Nope.
So outside, it's like Sarcasmos is looking it over and says, "This ship is quite a wreck.
Yeah, it was
Definitely Padoon's work.
Padoon. Who is this Padoon?
You do not know the great Padoon?
I've heard of him a little bit from the Minotaurs, but I've not seen him or don't know stories of him that well.
He looks over at the Minotaurs and he's like, why do you always, why do you people must keep these things to yourselves? This is mind-boggling. Padoon, he's Lord of the Sea.
Lord of the Sea.
A great beast he is. Resides under the waves. Lives about the island.
Is he known by any other names, or is he only known to this island?
Oh, Padoon lives here and only here. Be glad for that, or there would be no ships upon the ocean.
You're gonna look slightly disappointed and say that I thought he was Lord of the Sea, yet he lives on an island no one knows. It seems he is a bit overhyped.
He squints at you and he says, "Do you mock the Ultra Lobster? He is the most terrifying beast beneath the waves, and there are none that can challenge him."
I think Tell would like to cook an ultra lobster.
It is he who must be overcome in order to leave the island. He kind of glances over at Telemon's waist, where the cube is hanging in the sack, which we have still not kind of
Shown
gotten to
him,
yet.
yeah.
I think we're probably going to make camp here and deal with that.
Yeah.
You see Nico dragging a chest out.
So, do you guys want to make camp in the ship?
Yeah. Seems fair enough.
Yeah.
Give us
Yeah,
a
what
little
could go
shelter.
wrong?
Exactly.
Being
Yeah,
as
and
none of
well,
the people who know something went wrong here before are here present.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to check to see if there's any rations that might still be salvaged from the ship, or if they're completely none now.
Give me a 1d10.
As a 5.
You're searching through the ship, and you like come across the captain's cabin. It seems like it's been in like, actually no, the captain's cabin would have been in the back. This is like the maybe one of the ritzier passenger cabins. Like not a lot of the passengers
Obviously,
have
the
actual
bosun's
cabins.
nest and is full of alcohol.
No, you come across a like a small sack of coins. Can you roll 1d20?
Sure.
Too bad you can't eat gold.
All this money
Yeah,
I'm
you
going to
you
start.
find 5 coin.
Oh, awesome.
Does anybody like else search the ship?
I think I will.
No, he didn't. It seems like this was beneath like a floorboard that as the ship has shifted, like things have moved.
I'm also looking for any barrels or things that might say oil they might have left off. I'll look for stuff like that. But...
So let's see who's. All right, we're getting a 1d10 from Telemon and a 1d10 from Nicodemus. Padine, are you looking about the ship as well?
I won't search the ship now. The body's buried so close nearby. Give me some pause for doing that. I still have a couple more rations myself.
Okay.
If we're making camp here, and I get a chance to commute, I'm probably going to do it.
Telemon, you indeed find some rations.
Saw.
It seems like, yeah, there was a barrel here that it looked like people had set aside, like when they were salvaging the ship, and it looks like everybody left like in a kind of a hurry or something, and this thing was forgotten. There's like, I think like maybe. Let me actually look up how much this.
How much does a barrel hold? It has 5 drops left in the bottom.
There's a single energy bar in the bottom of the.
That's for Apocalypse World.
Oh no, that would be a Twinkie.
You find the shriveled remains of an energy bar. It says Snickers on it. I know Snickers isn't an energy bar, but you know, whatever.
Well, it depends. If the
But it
energy bar
satisfies.
says Snickers, we're in Apocalypse
Yeah,
World.
you find
If it says like Galactic Stampede or something, we're obviously in Stars Without Numbers.
you find dungeon rations enough with five uses.
Oh, good. I shall split these with my companions when I resurface.
Okay, Nicodemus, you're sniffing about the ship, and you get some lint up your nose. That's about it.
That's you.
That is all you find.
Hey, lint's flammable, right?
Not in this quantity.
A fuse.
Yeah, like you could obviously, you don't have oil. It seems like that had already been looted, but you could obviously like break apart parts of the ship and use it as tinder. But yeah, no oil. It seems like the ship was pretty well looted, and what wasn't looted washed out to sea.
I think you should find a whole barrel of the equivalent of gunpowder that has gotten wet and is now completely waterlogged. Gunpowder slurry.
Well, it's too bad they don't have gunpowder in this world.
True.
Regan, are you taking any noticeable actions during this time?
But
What
they
does
get
the
a
ship
chance
have
to
for defense? Like, it doesn't like nothing, or is it like a big ballistas or something?
There was like a single ballista up on the bow, and like that is gone.
That's most concerning. It's not something that I think people would just drag off if they're refugees.
Probably the Iron Fortress gathered it up.
So I want to.
With
Yeah, I just want to know if you've been doing anything with this scepter. Have you been holding it?
I've been carrying it around, but the moment I get an opportunity to commune again, I'm going to be switching to Words of the Unspeaking, and then I'm going to be looking into the scepter.
Okay. All right. So let's see here. Words of the Unspeaking.
Okay, as far as rations go, I give one to each person and one to the Minotaurs, I guess, as well. It was 5, right?
Yeah, it was 5. They generously take it. Sarcasmos we'll deal with in a bit.
If this goes well, I might actually offer to look at the eye as well with the same ability. We'll have to see.
Oh lord.
Yeah,
All right, so you're gonna take Words of the Unspeaking.
I find we're here on the ocean.
Yep,
We
I'm
should
gonna-
bait some lines.
I'm gonna switch my spells here.
Yeah, you wanna try to
Do some fishing.
mitigate your ration cost for this rest by potentially fishing.
Yeah, that's what I can do that while they are searching the ship and stuff. I'll
Seems to be
work
something
with
that
No.
you put the lines out. If you have a favorite
Yeah, so
fish
you
in the
guys are
morning-
searching, and I guess Padine, you're setting up fishing. Can you give me a 1d10, Padine?
Sure.
How far are we from that river?
It's at the very edge of sight, and it's
Couple hours
definitely
walk, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
well, not a couple hours walk, like maybe like 45 minutes to really get to the mouth of the river and up towards where it
I was
disappears
thinking
into the
about
jungle.
searching for some water leaf, but no.
It's nighttime.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If it was close, I was gonna try, but
In the morning, Nico.
Yeah. Padine, you find fish sufficient enough to negate the ration cost for today, like this evening.
Alrighty.
It seems like it's a very kind of lush inland shore here, and yeah, you just maybe you use a net or something, and you
catch-
cleverly kind of catch off a tide pool. They're not big fish, but there's enough.
We catch an ultra lobster. This world's much smaller
You-
than the other ones.
You don't want to do that one.
Fadoon! I caught Fadoon!
Oh my!
It's much too big to be found in the
Guys.
shallows.
So yeah, if you're leveling up, you can do that now. If you're taking new spells, you can do that. Regan, I think we're gonna end with Regan using his spell, and then we'll get a watch order from everybody, and we'll kind of roll that for the end of the session.
DM requires time to prepare our inevitable device.
Oh, that
I,
works well in
I
that session.
definitely try to use this on both objects if I can. I'll probably roll them on if this first object goes well.
Yeah, if things go well.
The way you've been rolling, don't count on that.
So you level up and you take Words of the Unspeaking.
That's correct. Well, I've had I got leveled up before, but yeah, I've
Mhm.
taken Words of the Unspeaking as my spell here. Just changed my spell book.
Why is that listed as a first level spell on your spell book?
Oh, you know what? I just pasted it in the wrong spot. I'm
Okay.
sorry. That's all on me.
Right.
Say,
So
fifth level.
you have privacy on the ship. You could go to the top of the ship. You could there's a lower deck that's partially flooded, or you could go to the middle deck where pretty much most people are kind of camped out right now.
When I do the scepter, I'm probably gonna find some out of the way spot. Probably in the lower decks, maybe not the most
Okay.
flooded area, but yeah. And
Yeah,
then
well,
when I
like
go up,
the
I'll
forward
talk
part
about
of the
eye
deck
after.
is out of the water.
Before he goes off to do that, I'll ask if I can join him to see what he's doing
Ooh, that's
for his
interesting.
communing or anything.
Yes, may we join you, Regan? The Sarcasmos is like
Sarcasmos
standing,
good too.
like, you seem to be up to magics this evening.
Regan will say that he needs to meditate on something, but we'll be joining Telemon shortly to investigate the eye.
Yes.
And then I'll turn to the goblin and say that if you want to see the eye, I'll be joining the deck shortly, and I think we can show you.
Nico
He
is
nods.
to the edge,
Very well.
on the edge of the firelight, examining the contents of his chest to see
You've
if
all,
anything is
you've all
broken,
by
etc.,
now,
etc. Yeah.
you've all by now, determined that Nico has a giant sack of money and gems with him. By the way, just by the sound of it moving. Nobody's thus far said anything, and yeah, Nico, you're setting up your equipment. Nothing's broken
So
that
tell
can't
me,
be
Nico,
used
do you always rattle so?
when he can help it.
I prefer to.
He's been doing so since
Such things are very useful.
crypt.
The bag's laying up like the side of the chest.
As coins spill out of it.
You just hear a
A,
shing.
a small emerald sparkles in the torchlights.
No, a single coin rolls out of it and rolls down across the floor. You just see this rattling paw dart out faster than like a snake
Ball
bite
bearings.
and like
Totally ball
snatch it
bearings.
up.
What are these ball bearings you speak of?
You put them underneath objects and they allow it to roll more easily.
Oh, they're musket balls? We don't have musket balls. What would you actually call a ball bearing?
A
in this
sling
time
bullet.
frame? Yeah, I guess it'd be a sling bullet.
A really absurdly crafted sling bullet, like nobody would ever make one out of metal.
But Nico, you don't have a sling, do you?
No.
So why do you have sling bullets with you?
Shrapnel. You put them in a
Or
bomb,
bombs.
and then you set it off, and it goes everywhere.
That sounds quite effective. You should do so the next occasion you chance.
Coin bombs. Yep, coin bombs. Like coin shot from Fallout, but it's a bomb.
Okay,
Everybody
so
makes it here, come do
are
it
you
now.
are you planning on making something tonight, there, Nicodemus? Now that you have your lab,
Yes.
you can make some mutagens or bombs or something.
I want to make a panther heart mutagen and a human heart mutagen. If I have
Okay.
time. That doesn't say how much time it takes.
Let me look. When you spend time in a well-equipped lab experimenting on yourself, you create a special mutagenic potion that only works, I think, only one at a time.
There's only one can affect you at a time. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
you
what
can
it
have more
says-
than one.
I don't think you can, like, if you had, like, a shit ton of ingredients, I don't think you could just do all this at once. This is
Okay.
Skyrim.
Okay.
So which one do you want to do? The Panther one? I didn't tell you specifically, but that would definitely give you more aggressive tendencies. I think that would go
Increase
towards
damage
your...
die, sort of. Or
Yeah, that would increase your damage die by 1 step. You would get a bonus if you were using that, or if you were using it to enhance your visual,
I
auditory,
gotta
or
roll
tactile.
plus con first here.
Well, you gotta tell me. You gotta tell me which one you're gonna do.
I'm
Because
gonna use
you
the
only
We're gonna
get-
drink it.
Yeah, because you only get a +1 if you are going to use the advantage that this heart actually applies to.
Are you drinking?
The
He's not
Panther
drinking
one
it yet.
doesn't have a notable advantage.
You don't
I'm
have
giving
to-
it one.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
have to roll plus con until you drink it. That's the way I read it.
Yeah, but he's got to make it in such a way that it gets advantage. Like he has to pick one of those. Well, I guess.
I want increased damage die 1 step.
Okay, so you're aiming for that.
That's what I'm gonna aim for.
Okay, all right. So yeah, roll with a bonus of 1. Ooh, it's a good thing you had that bonus. On a 10 plus, choose one advantage, and you may end the effects whenever you choose. So yeah, you make this this panther mutagen, and there's like this Dr. Jekyll moment here in like one of the corners of the ship, where where like the ratling is furiously mixing alchemical ingredients, and then you come up with this bubbling purplish blue concoction.
It might glow a bit.
Yeah,
do
you down it?
Yes, I drink it.
Okay. You feel like fire coursing down your arms for several seconds, and specifically into your fingertips, and you definitely feel more powerful. And yeah,
and then you explode.
Yeah, that happens. Your damage die is increased by 1 step as long as this mutagen is in effect.
So D8.
Yep. So we'll leave your base damage there as it's written, and we will put in a note. Actually, we can do parentheses.
So he already drank it, or?
Yeah, he drank it.
Okay. So he made it and drank it.
Yep. It's the same move.
If we don't do anything for the next 24 hours.
No,
you have
it
the
lasts
option
indefinitely.
Uh,
He can only have one at a time, but this will be permanent unless he replaces it.
Because on
gotcha.
7 to 9, the effects last 24 hours.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But I can only
Out
have
of
one
curiosity-
effect active at a time.
Can he?
Yes.
Could he like choose to make one and bottle it? I'm just wondering.
No.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'd have to use the potion creation rule for
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And it only works on you. It
Which-
specifically says that.
The potion creation is kind of like a limited
When you're
ritual.
creating this, you have to put in your rat hair into it and stuff, like it's specifically tailored to your DNA.
Oh, that's interesting. Like that.
So yeah, you've semi-permanently increased your damage from D6 to D8. Nicely done. Is anybody else doing anything before we get to Regan's little conversation here?
And I'll renew the Panther Heart.
Yep. All right, so Regan, well, I guess while this is happening, like Regan disappears to the lower deck of the ship, and I think probably Sarcasmos just like asks to like see the cube while you guys are talking upstairs, and we're not going to get into the discussion. We're just going to say like he's like, you know, and oh, this is very interesting. As Padine and Telemon are there as well. He's going to go over during this conversation what this could be used for. But Regan, you have the bottom of the ship to yourself.
Right then. In that case, I'm going to set up a little bit of a private area up with the scepter first, since that's what I have on me, and I am going to begin praying very hard over it as I'm attempting to investigate it and see if I can get it to answer 3 questions for me.
Okay, so Words of the Unspeaking, level 5 spell. With a touch, you speak to the spirits within things. The non-living object you touch answers 3 questions you pose as best it can. So you see this thing laying before you, and like it's this simple iron scepter.
Nice. Okay. After I've cast it, I am going to once I feel like my mind is cleared and have some sort of a connection, the first question I will ask is, what is your true nature? Assuming this is probably answering in my mind, given it's a...
Yeah, I'm thinking about its response. Because that's a fairly complex question.
Figured I would start kind of broad before trying to pin it down the last 2 questions.
You feel like at first there's no answer, and then like kind of in the back of your mind, there's kind of like a resonance, almost like a kind of a deep bass resonance, and it says, "I am the will of kings."
That's interesting. I'm trying to think what the next question would be. Shoot. Nature's the will of kings. Yeah, that's very, very hard to pin down back, Finn. Or Padine, I definitely.
Well,
Let
it
me
was
think.
a vague question. You get a vague
That-
answer.
Oh no, that is true. That is a good. I mean, it was. I think it's definitely clever. Let me think here. I think the second question I will ask to be is, where and when were you forged?
Ooh.
I should totally be my third question.
I was forged high in the mountains of Ardane, many, many centuries ago.
Do I
I
know
have-
anything about ancient Ardane?
Yeah, it's on the eastern continent of Keldum. There's kind of four primary powers on Keldum. There's Boros, Archibald, Kald, and Ardane. Most of the history between like the four kind of revolve around them fighting over Kald. Kald is kind of like Poland. Ardane is much less populated than Arkfall. It's pretty mountainous, pretty snowy, and it's kind of a harsh climate. And the most notable thing there is they're known for the Ardanian Sky Knights. It's kind of like they're one military force that's kept the others at bay, even though they don't have nearly the numbers. They basically have a breed of giant falcon that live in the mountains in northeast Ardane. That they train these people to ride, and they wield lances that are like 15 or 20 feet long, and they're like some of the most deadly people to take to the skies. Like the only thing that's deadlier is somebody riding a dragon or something like that, which is unheard of.
All
And
right.
Ardane has like an old tradition of kings. Like they're probably one of the first kingdoms. They're not the most powerful, but they have like a lot of history.
Oh, that's an interesting thing. Trying to see here. What was the name of your goddess, by the way, Padine?
Valinda Daria.
Linda Daria. And my last question is going to be, what would he who cannot be named or Valinda Daria want with you?
There's a long pause. And it says... Whomsoever wields me has the power to bend the world around them. If held by a servant of one or the other, their will would obviously be furthered.
Ooh, that's a good answer. One that Regan may keep to himself, I think, for a bit. Regan will give it a kind of a thank you, and then very carefully put it into his pack. But he's gonna move it up into one of his front packs so he can keep this thing close by. This is now his sacred mission to protect this thing.
All right, and are you going to let Telemon at it, or are you gonna just figure out what it does on your own?
I may figure out what it goes on my own, I think, in this case. So I am going
Okay.
to May have to have words with him at some point. I'm sure he'll be curious, but...
Okay, so you go back upstairs and you find Telemon, Padine, I think Nicodemus has just kind of entered as well. Sarcasmos, all in this room. It seems like the brothers Minotaur are on the other side of the room, and they're kind of resting. They're not particularly interested in the conversation, although they're within conversing range if a question needs to be asked them. And they're sitting about, like, I think you guys have basically constructed, like, a very small fire in here, maybe, using some rocks at the bottom of a chest, and then like having the fire in that or something. Like it's basically just enough to keep the room warm, and you definitely can't have it untended, but it's enough. And everybody's kind of clustered around this, and Telemon, you're like showing Sarcasmos the cube as Regan enters the room.
Quick question, how heavy was the scepter, by the way? For some reason it got out of my inventory weight, and I want to put it back in there.
The scepter is 1 weight.
Oh, okay.
And it is close.
Excellent.
You know nothing more than that.
That is true. In that case, when I come in, I'm going to wave to Telemon and say that perhaps I can take a look at the artifact that he found, or that we found. I may be able to ascertain some more information from it.
Perhaps so. My examinations of it yesterday, little that was new. Other than our suspicions, it does seem to be able to emit a great amount of magic if we were to shatter it or something of that nature. Burning it in lava or something of anything of that nature that would slowly melt it is definitely not a good idea.
Regan's going to nod and say perhaps the goblin can work his assistance with it, and perhaps we can form a circle and attempt to find some more information from this item.
Yes, I believe I could have a crack at it. Like he rubs his hands together. I do believe that this would be enough to help us get off the island. You all assure me that you are trustworthy. You do not. If I tell you my plan, you will well, he doesn't know what to say. It looks like he seems kind of at an impasse, and like he's got a plan, obviously, but nobody's really done a whole lot to ensure to him that you guys would be cooperative.
I'm going to cast Detect Alignment, kind of quietly over in the corner.
Okay, give me a spell roll.
Hopefully, that is. Oops, crap. I just reset. Be right there.
And I will say that you can only do this so quietly because your spells are much more verbally oriented than the others.
Okay. Alrighty. So on that, did it show up for you guys?
Yeah, 10.
Okay, good. So on that, I think I get to say which alignment I want to have it be sensed. I'll do evil, just for the heck of it.
Okay, so you're like kind of muttering to yourself off in the corner, and both like Sarcasmos and the Minotaurs are kind of like looking at you kind of oddly, like what is he doing? He moved off to the corner and he's just like chanting to himself. And you cast this, and you're like kind of blown back almost into the wall. As there is just an overwhelming sense of evil coming directly from like Telemon's lap.
Does it come from anywhere else?
You can't tell at all.
Oh crap! It's overpowering already.
Yeah. You don't get the feeling that it does, but like you're literally like, I think the rest of you kind of see like blood start to almost like trickle down his nose or something, just like a small bit. You have to end this very quickly.
Okay, I do, and I will say
It's just overpowering.
I detect tremendous evil from that. So whatever you do, be extremely careful.
Well, no shit.
Yeah, like
Sarcasmos
didn't we
just looks
already
over at you.
Didn't we already establish that it's holding the quote-unquote dreaded one?
Yes, but we were unclear on how that might be dreaded and to whom. So I just wanted to make sure.
He squints at you, says, "You're some sort of caster?
Yes, I do have.
Are you a mage?"
No, I'm more of a performing priest, as it might be. I don't know if you have any knowledge of bards from where you come from, as you haven't told me.
Well, are you all willing to potentially use this to help me and my people to get off the island? If you are, I promise there will be a place for you on the way off.
We don't really have a better plan, so I'd say yes.
Regan will pipe up and say, "Perhaps you should tell us our plan before I attempt to ascertain information about."
You
the
have a
artifact."
better plan, Regan?
All right, look. I've never been terribly good at keeping all this secrecy crap anyway. We have a camp. It is on the north side of the island. Very, very hard to get to. Even if you knew it was there, you would not be able to find it, like he says a little bit defensively. Our crews came together, and we have been attempting to repair one of the ships. If I could only persuade them that we had a way to get past Padoon, I believe that it would be sufficient to get them to finish the ship, and we could leave this place. There are some problems here and there. Obviously, we would need a way to navigate the sea, but as far as transportation goes, we could take care of that. That, however, he points at the cube. I believe we could use this to deal with the Great Padoon.
You think Padoon will be fearful of the eye of the dreaded one?
Fearful? What? Who cares? It's fearful. I say we smash it and use it to smite his ass.
Perhaps
It would be
but it's
unleashing
merely a
something.
source of energy. We need to channel it into something. A spell,
But
perhaps. But
If only we had something that could kill a great beast, is what I've been wondering for years now. And this is the only source of magic that I know that could potentially do this. Unfortunately, however, we would still need a way to navigate our way off of the island and through the very perilous reefs. Don't happen to have some sort of druid with you by chance? You could turn into a sea lion.
Well, we did, but no, sadly not anymore.
Yeah, he shakes his head. Neither did we. Neither did we. It falls to magical means, perhaps. That was what we were. But one cannot be used for the both. We would need one magical item to deal with Padoon, and the other to help us navigate away safely from the shores. I think everybody kind of turns and looks at the ratling, maybe, with the giant killing spear on his back.
Oh yeah, that was crossing my mind. I was just trying not to alert him to it yet.
Oh, I knew about it. I just didn't say anything.
Yeah, if nobody says anything, that's totally fine.
He's got it in his mind. I was thinking of it. I just didn't want to say anything in front of the goblin.
Yeah, like, as he's outlining it, like, it occurs to you guys that, like, technically you guys have potentially what you guys need to do to leave the island. You would just have to follow the
Utilize
goblin
the
back
spear,
to his his encampment, persuade the goblins to finish the boat and take you with them.
Regan expresses quite a bit of concern about the potential of releasing the being inside of this artifact, and that we need to investigate it to see if this plan has a chance to succeed.
Yes. Knowledge is its own power.
So let me get this straight. Your plan is to unleash the Dreaded One to fight Padoon, therefore allowing us to get away.
I was simply looking for a source of magical power. I have no point in unleashing it. If this could simply be destroyed, its magical energies would be unleashed. Not perhaps what is inside.
During my investigations last night, it did not seem as if it would release it per se. It seemed that shattering it would banish it to another dimension or something.
See, exactly. Exactly what he said.
Regan pauses for a moment and says, "Prepare your questions. We will see. Telemon, can you shield the artifact while I perform the ritual?"
There is possibly another option. If you would need the power for something else. I dig out Nestal.
What?
This is supposedly able to kill anything at any cost, but
He kind of squints at you and raises an eyebrow.
if thrown with the purpose of killing the enemy. But it would require that we actually hit him. And I'm not the best thrower in the world.
He like turns to Regan a little bit. Like, is he on some sort of drug-induced mutagen high? Kill anything?
Regan will reply, "Always, but he is correct."
Where did you come across this item?
In the same crypt as that, indicating the eye thing.
Regan will
Really?
say, where it was found does not matter. It goes where it is needed.
Does someone speak up about having seen this item before?
Yes. This is not the first time I have seen Nestal.
Nestal?
It is
Never
the
heard
one
of
that
such a thing.
supposedly was used to seal away this so-called Dreaded One in the first place. It came to my companions and I. Regan was there, as was another who you have not met.
Well, if it was sufficient to seal something as powerful as what resides in that thing, then it could be powerful enough to at least deter the great Padoon.
Assisted the slaying of a dark and ancient dragon, an undead one at that.
An undead dragon, you say? He leans over towards Vegan. Is he perhaps on some sort of drug-induced mutagen?
I can assure you that I am not. I may be old, but I am not senile. Yet.
Yes, these are powerful magics that we've come in contact with.
Well, if it could deal with Padoon, we could potentially... Maybe we could use the magic from the cube to navigate the channels, or just simply protect the boat.
Do I have an idea? Let's see how this goes.
There's no end to what you could accomplish with so much raw magical energy is stored in there.
Regan will actually step over to Nicodemus and ask him if he can see Nestal for a moment.
Why? But, sure.
If you hand it over to me, I'm gonna kind of walk it over to the table where Telemon is and grasp both ends of it, and I'm gonna kind of go into what almost looks like a trance. Maybe my eyes will fog over a bit into almost a slight off-color haze, and I'm going to attempt to ask Nestal 3 questions.
Okay.
Well,
Roll thine spell, you thing. Oh, that's experience.
there we go again.
Nestal does not answer.
a little bit more dramatic than that.
Yeah.
Regan,
God.
Regan, you hold this thing up and you're like, all right, artifact, you'll answer me, and you're staring at it, and there's like everybody hears the crack of thunder almost. Regan, will you please take
Oh, lightning bolts.
I'm trying to determine how much damage this would be.
God.
Um,
Well, lightning bolt the spell would be on par with fireball.
yeah,
D4s.
can you please do what is fireball? That's 2d6.
2d6 ignores armor.
Yeah, please roll 2d6, Regan.
And Regan is
God.
struck dead.
What's his health at now? Oh man.
Yikes!
Like an arc of blue purplish electricity just runs up your arms and shocks you, and you drop the spear and you fly across the room and smack into the opposite bulkhead with like a crunch, like as the wood kind of behind you buckles a little bit, and you take 9 points of electric damage.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I think you have your answer, Regan. The stall doesn't like you.
You just literally flung across the entire room,
Well,
and like a thunderbolt was just like.
I believe that says that this stall does not answer to anyone.
Regan
Except
is
who it
gonna moan
chooses to.
after a moment and start to stand up with his clothes still partially smoking, and
I will
say
begin.
perhaps that was unwise.
I will begin to sing the song, the Elvish song of Sintanana, and greenish mist starts to flow towards Regan.
Oh,
Hopefully.
here we go again. Here comes your experience for the day, Recluse.
Ah,
Average.
the unwanted attention, though, or 2 targets.
Oh boy.
I have no idea what that's gonna do.
Well,
God.
Platoon attacks.
Everybody hears the crackling of electricity once again in the room.
Oh,
God.
And
Exactly.
can you please roll 2d4, Padine?
Max.
Wow, Max.
Wow.
Holy crap!
You get
Wow, that's
blasted as well.
Crazy. Yeah, you
Let me roll my
it-
healing for
it-
Regan.
yeah, it was going to be lesser because it's actually being channeled through Regan, but yeah, you get blasted off your feet as you try to like magically interact with this guy who's still electrically charged. And
Oh God!
you don't get blasted like off your feet, but you take like a horrific shock of 8 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And that's what happens, folks, when you just immediately magic something that's been magicked. Unexpected things.
Yep. Boy, that did a lot of damage.
It did max damage on 2d4.
Smoking Regan's probably going to sit back down with a thump in the chair and say that perhaps we should be very careful
Actually,
if we are
wait.
going to.
That roll, that 8's going to still count, but I'm actually going to give you a defy danger for that because this was a partial success. So you see, like as you're starting to cast your healing magic on him, you see your magic start to have a very weird interaction with like the sparks on his body, and you have like the briefest second to realize that there's some sort of overcharge coming towards you.
Alrighty.
How would you try to defy this?
We're by that, like a table or something that's made of wood.
Yeah.
I'll probably it's not the table with the rocks and the fire on it though, right?
No.
Okay, I'll kind of move behind that and put it up to like block any type of thing. I don't know if to defy danger with dex or intelligence.
This seems more like
Probably because of the wood, it would be intelligence.
yeah. This seems more like intelligence.
Alrighty.
Oh god. I thought that was much lower for a minute. I didn't see the
Yeah,
5, just saw the
I
1
didn't either.
roll.
All right, so you can do that, but you have You have a little idea as to where this 8 points of damage may or may not go.
Oh shit.
Like,
Yeah.
it seems like it's overcharging and it's seeking a target of magical energy. Like, picture electricity arcing from one metal object to another, except in this case, people with magic or sources of magic are the metal objects, like they're drawing the magic to them. So like it occurs to you as you're starting to dive behind this table that, all right, if I'm no longer a source for this thing, it might strike something else instead.
Oh, let's see. I'll take it, I guess.
Okay, all right. So you do take that 8 points of damage. And You
Yeah.
get shocked and like fall to your knees.
That'll give me the experience point for my
Yep.
neutral alignment, probably.
It seems like you should not piss off mythical grade items.
Yes.
Good
job, Regan.
You will excuse me, Padine. I will perhaps help you a little later when, things aren't quite so magically charged.
Like, Sarcasmos is dove behind a small dresser or something, and all you can see is like the top of his hat, and then he's looking out from beneath the brim, and he's just looking about like.
I, for one, think maybe we should not piss off mystical level legendary artifacts. Probably be a good start to our lives.
Sounds like a plan.
Certainly not a good end to them.
Regan's definitely has the smell of burnt hair probably surrounding him at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, a little smoke coming up from my eyebrows.
Yep. Wow. Did you guys take the same damage?
No, I took one less.
Okay.
Oh, I took 9, he took 8.
Oh, God. So I think we'll.
I just took the 9 out.
So
Call it before we kill ourselves.
yeah, I think we'll call it there.
Yeah.
Before Regan
gotta
decides
take that.
to ask questions of the Eye of the Dreaded
I
One.
did write a new
That
bond
was my
for
original
Padine,
plan.
but it's already in doubt.
God knows what would have happened if I botched on friggin' the Eye of the Dreaded One.
Yeah.
Bad enough failing on this stuff.
Yeah, you guys might have had another Lunaeus there. So
Aw.
let's see here. I know those traveling sessions are often a little bit uneventful, but you guys had a lot to discuss and do, and you had like some weird thing happen to you in your dream, which I don't think you guys actually discussed.
I was gonna ask you, was there any physical like manifestation of those things that happened in the dreams, or no?
Well, I mean, Nicodemus is healthier than ever and like tougher.
Most ripped
Oh, so
ratling
that's why
ever.
that is. Okay.
Padine has like a better access to channeling his spells now, and your mace now has like an extra set of runes that were not there before.
The way
Does
he
Regan
handed me
have
like,
the coin or just the mace
Yeah,
upgrade?
Oh, the
That's
coin is gone.
Okay,
That's
well,
why-
he
that's
got
why I
it.
was
He was
wondering-
holding it in his dream. That's what I was asking.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna wake
It
up
was
and
the-
somehow I was magically back in my pocket or something.
No,
the way it
no,
was described.
you would infer that the magic that was used to enchant the coin, like the power it took,
That makes a lot
was
of
probably
sense, actually.
shunted into your weapon.
That makes a lot of sense. I thought that was related to something else. I didn't quite
So
get
yeah,
that. Not you.
in the end, it took some time. It was delayed gratification, but everybody who used one of those altars ended up getting something in return.
But the price, what was it? That's the question.
You didn't end up too bad. Your hand is working again, at least.
I'm the buffest rattling you ever saw.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I'm gonna
know.
get a new arm someday, or try to get a new arm anyway. Just that so far, every arm that
The
I've
sad
seen
part
has
is,
just
I
not
think you
been.
could make a new barbarian of maximum constitution, and it wouldn't have that many hit points.
I think the max you can get is 28, and that's only after you bump something up to a +3. So, Nicodemus. Sorry about that. Nicodemus, did you disregard safety or ethics to make a new discovery?
Ethics, perhaps, because I ripped apart human bodies.
Yeah, ethics is in the line. and you discovered that you could use human hearts in
Yep.
a way that would probably get you in a lot of trouble in civilization. So that's a point. How about your bonds?
Telemon has great magics. He will be important in the future, maybe.
Is this a new bond?
That would be a change to has an interesting mind in my curiosity.
Well, it wouldn't be change. It would be. Are you arguing that one is done?
Yeah, because
Are you no longer curious of Telemon? Like you firmly respect his power? Like
I have seen what he can do and
Okay.
seen him destroy stuff with his.
Okay.
weapons, so.
You can mark that one off as complete. Make sure you take your opportunity to put a new bond in there before we next play. We'll get to scheduling after we're done with this, by the way. Padine, did you avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation?
I think I did it right there at the end where I took the blast because I didn't want somebody else to get nailed by it.
Yeah. Normally that would be like that definitely didn't count as diffusing a tense situation, but avoiding a conflict very very potentially. Like I think it probably occurred to you like what if this struck the eye?
Yeah, or like one of our hirelings that I don't know that well.
So yeah, that counts.
That was on
How
my
about
mind, the eye.
how about your bonds here?
I think I have enough info with Nicodemus to have a ballad prepared for him.
Really?
Only
How
thing
about how do you feel about that, Nicodemus? Has he seen enough of you to really get a good picture of who you are? I don't
think so because he hasn't even seen mutagens or anything work yet.
You haven't seen him do
Or
anything.
you haven't seen me make a potion.
You've seen him use a couple bombs. That's about it. Like,
alrighty, I'll hold on to that one.
I feel that one's probably not done as well, Nicodemus.
That's about it then.
All right, Regan. Endanger yourself following the precepts of your church or God to further their reach.
The only thing that may... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, one of my newish bonds, I don't know if for the arcane art for Telemon, if defending him with it, with my new arcane art spell. I don't know if that was enough. He put down a new bond.
You made an arcane art to defend me, and then you put yourself up in the face of the same kind of effect.
At the end there, yeah.
If we had ended
true.
before the final, it might be true, but now you're on neutral ground.
Yeah, but I was using it to try to
Well,
heal
he says that it's not, so...
Alrighty, cool.
It's to Telemon. So, back to you, Regan.
The only thing that might apply, and I'm totally cool with it not applying, is the main reason I decided to go for the fight over flight or negotiate against those pirates is simply because of the things that we were carrying. Specifically
I don't think this is going to apply.
I think not applying is completely fine.
All right, how about your bonds?
I do have one, which is Nicodemus is in constant danger. I will keep them safe. I think that the rat has been taking steroids, so I'm getting the feeling that...
Yeah, you haven't really been doing a whole lot to, like... He keeps putting himself in danger a lot of the time, and it seems like he's able to survive it anyway. Like, is this sort of the thing that's like, I haven't done anything, he's in constant danger, but I can't do anything to keep him safe. It seems like he somehow lives through it.
It's more like he's started to be able to take care of himself pretty damn well to the point where I don't think I necessarily need to keep a 100% eye on him. I don't think he's like basically the glass member of the group anymore.
Nicodemus, do you feel that Regan has ever kept you safe?
He defended me one time, but he hasn't really kept me safe as far as I can tell.
I blessed you in a few instances.
You have blessed me a couple times.
That is true.
I've been trying to always make sure that if I protect anybody, it was Nicodemus. Up until this session, where he seems like he was always on top of the world.
All right. Yeah, I think that's probably done. Like, I think at this point you're like, if something kills him, it's just not something I'm gonna be able to deal with because he's so tough anyway that I just wouldn't have been able to deal with it.
I probably will still try to protect him. I don't think that, but I'm not going to be like singling him out as protecting him over all the others anymore. I think that he's on par with everybody else for the way he's been doing.
One thing I'm noticing on your sheet, by the way, I see you put a separate spot for coin. I had considered doing that, but the thing is, coin at a certain level has weight. So
okay.
it needs to be accounted in personal inventory. Like it doesn't,
Okay,
it's
fine.
not taking up weight now, but once you reach weight or amount of coin like Nicodemus has, it actually does start taking up weight in your inventory. So you may wish to undo your coin counter at the bottom and just keep it in your inventory, like bag of 5 coin or something like that, or coin, times 5, whatever, however you want to do it. But definitely keep it in your general inventory.
Sounds good. Wiping it right now.
All right, and tell. Yeah, you healed several people, so that's an easy one to accomplish. How about your bonds?
Made a new one for Padine.
It's proved useful to the party recently,
but perhaps he isn't only good for drawing trouble. Then he
All right, we'll see how
himself a
that one
lightning hand
goes.
the session after I wrote it.
Yeah, we'll see how that one goes, because it seems like every time he does something good with that arcane art, he draws a lot of attention with it. Like maybe that's the concept behind the fact that on a 7 to 8 or 7 to 9, you guys don't choose. I choose if it deals, like if it affects something else, or if you take unwelcome attention, is because you're singing it or it's noise. So it's like obviously something that's going to draw unwanted attention or something.
Yeah, probably.
It's an interesting distinction there. It's more apt to get you into trouble. All right. So on to the questions here. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
The goblin camp?
That could definitely be not the world at large, but your world is in currently. Yeah, like there's a third kind of faction on the island that nobody knew about, and that could potentially present a way off the island for you.
Ships,
Also,
yeah.
that I have an item that could potentially reshape reality. Might be only important to Regan, but damn, that's important to him.
Did we overcome a notable monster or enemy?
I wouldn't say so.
No, I don't think so either.
The only thing we fought this session was bandits, so not exactly notable.
We did
Not bandits, but
disintegrate the
pirates.
captain.
Well, that's the pirate captain. It's not exactly.
Yeah, but you didn't even know she was a captain. Like, if you guys knew who she were and you had had some long interaction with her, then that one might have been notable.
Notable,
If
yeah.
we had history with her, it could have been a whole different story.
And did we loot a memorable treasure? I don't think so either.
Yep.
So I think
All
we're
the
just
memorable
getting
treasures were
one.
last turn.
I think we're just getting 1 XP. The one from new and important about the world.
I'm almost to a level. Again.
God, you guys are really leveling
I'm
fast.
6 out of 12
No,
for
I
level
gained
6 now.
I gained 2 experience this session, so.
My rapier was pretty good treasure, but
No, not at
not
that
good
level.
enough.
Not magical, not worth hundreds of coins.
Gotcha.
6 XP from level 6. I hope I don't die. It's gonna
Oh
be
my
awesome in level
gosh.
6.
So you get for failing all your spells.
Well,
God.
he's rolling his decent to good stats, but he's rolling crap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing the whole time.
Yeah, you don't need to roll your dump stats like in order to get XP. You just need to roll, and then you'll get XP.
Yeah, if you'll notice, I never really go. I generally do not try to roll anything that I've got a negative in unless there's like no logical way around it. But
Yep, I've noticed.
it's just
So,
it's not working out well.
all right, that's our session for today.
I will drop the recording.
Scheduling coming up is